We're live. We're back.
Live. We're back. Episode 2. Can you believe it?
2 in. We made it.
How many you guys trying to pump out a month or
Weekly. We're going to go for weekly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's manageable.
Yeah.
If we get 5 in, it's a huge victory.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Over under? You got an over under bet?
I think you guys get 7 in. But,
7?
Yeah, but I think like the dog days
We're gonna
of
double
January, you're going to be like,
Fuck.
We'll be fine.
fucking Lando.
7 feet of snow out front. We can't even get in the front door.
When will we start fighting?
Our
That's
last
the big
guest.
once there's $1 pumped into this thing, it's going to get messy.
Which the first guest is just going to walk out. Fucking, I'm not going to
Speaking of the first guest, tell us who you
me,
are.
really? First
Yeah.
guest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the first.
That's fucking cool.
Number 1. Got Josh
I'm
Walker
honored.
here. Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up, man? My name's Josh. I've known both you guys for a long time.
You have.
So it's, it's neat to. Anyone ever asked me to be on a podcast? I'm like, yes, because I can just fucking talk. I'll.
But you
night
said
long.
yes
Well,
faster to ours.
That's
right?
why we thought of you, because in all honesty,
I'll just talk. And
there's
talk.
no. Well, yeah,
we
but
also
we have
knew you
so
would
much,
say yes.
so much shit we can talk about.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about. No
Whoa.
doubt.
Take
Yeah.
us. I want you to take us through. Just give us a brief timeline of your career history.
Sure.
And I don't want to hear like when you were mowing lawns
No,
at
no.
12. But,
I'll
you
jump
know.
out of college.
I do.
College is pretty interesting,
College is
actually.
good. Where do you go to
Interesting
college?
place.
Let's start there.
Everyone knows Plymouth State, and I think the kind of the root of like wanting to be in the snow biz is Plymouth State, because so many guys came out, especially around my class, came out of there were in the snow biz.
Yeah, ski SU, right?
Yeah, from my generation, was a lot of snowboard dudes, like a lot of dudes that kind of I think shaped snowboarding came out of there, for like all that whole Blue Lodge crew of dudes, and like a lot of sick designers and marketing guys that created brands out of there. You know, I was a freshman, I would just see Noah Brandon like skateboarding around Plymouth State, and he was like this insane skateboarder. Then I'd see him on the hill when he was home, and he was like this cult figure because he was a really big pro snowboarder at the time, and he had this whole like underling crew of like young snowboard kids. They lived near my brother on the street called Bailey Street, and those guys, you know, I was super young, and I just kind of saw them all the time taking drive. I'd actually pump gas at the Irving, and I'd be pumping gas, and they'd roll up like in their fucking souped out like SUVs, all their boards, and they're like going to the Burton factory or going to Stowe and going shredding. I'm like, sweet, I'm pumping gas. I'm gonna go try to ski go try to ski at night somewhere, you know. But
Yeah.
it was cool to see that and see kids like that. They were in college, like in the snow industry, and it was fucking rad because you'd see dudes that like you went to school with getting like full page ads in snowboard mags and shit. I thought
That
was
is rad.
made it like tangible, you know. And,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and there was just a lot of opportunity to be on the hill there, and it was super fun school. You know?
Yeah.
It was a shitty school when I was there to start, and then it became a better school academia wise. Now it's like a really good school, and I think a lot of kids still go there so they can get on the hill, which is cool.
Right.
What did you go for?
So I get on the hill. That was like
Good answer.
No sugarcoating.
They have
that
a
one.
degree in that, right?
Yeah.
I became a nerd. I wrote in the paper and fucking did a bunch of shit that was cool, and I had made a bunch of amazing lifetime friends. And you know, from there, I wanted to go skiing, so I bolted. I was pounding nails and working landscape construction,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I bolted to Breckenridge, and with a bunch of my good friends, a bunch of Plymouth State dudes. We all lived in like Peak 9 in this big old
sick.
house. It was like super fun. Like back then, Breckenridge was so different. Like you go over the backside of where we lived and like sneak back into like the Peak 8 parking lot. And it was, the first year they had a super pipe was that year.
Wow.
And had an insane New Year's party and just shredded a ton. Everyone worked restaurant gigs. I worked in shops. I always worked in shops too when I was in Plymouth.
Yeah.
I was always around it, working shops, tuning skis and all that kind of shit. I realized pretty quickly, like I wanted to be a really awesome skier, but I was never going to be a pro skier. And so
We all want to be awesome.
then I was just
skiers.
like, all right, I just want to keep skiing. And then I went home, worked my ass off. The next one I went to Utah and skied some real hills and saw some real snowfall and
Yeah.
met a bunch of serious heads and eye-opening. The level of skiing in Little Cottonwood Canyon, it was just
It's fucking sweet.
yeah, it was super
So
eye-opening.
accessible too. It's crazy out there.
And just the talent, like the fucking, like Dan Withy, one of my favorite skiers I wound up sponsoring at Bern the later years. I would just see him skiing. His style was so sick, and he was like a bartender at the Sits at Alta, so you go up there and have beers and be like, and at this point I think he had a couple of powder covers. So it was like, it's weird because skiing and snowboarding was so accessible back then. It hadn't really started to really blow up, but it was just kind of starting.
What's like
and,
the price of a lift ticket when you moved to Utah?
Fuck, I think you could ski at Alta for like $30.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah. I got a pass at Snowbird for, I think it was like $700 or $600, and then there was another pass that year that was even cheaper, but it wasn't snowboard. It was something
Like
else. It might have been a little
Brighton
more than that. It might have been like $800. But like my first winter there, I had like 3 days on my snowboard pass, and probably
Whoa.
another like 40 days skiing all day.
Wow.
That's pretty
Just
good.
Skied a shitload. Lived in an apartment with no furniture.
Do you work at like
Stock shelf-
Target or something in
I
Utah?
stocked shelves at night at Target. And it was
How much
eye-opening.
shit did you steal there?
Is it true they make you bring your own red shirt to Target?
They did. They make you go buy your
fucking
own red shirt. At least when I was there.
What?
Yeah, for
Seriously,
sure.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah,
they don't
they
even
don't
give you a
provide
free
shirts.
shirt?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you listen to music, so I would sneak headphones and they'd catch me.
Wow.
What the fuck are you doing? You can't listen to music. I was like stocking shelves at night, and I would fuck everything up. And I was like, oh man, this job sucks. Then I would see like, Utah kids worked hard. There was a lot of kids that
Yeah.
would go to high school all day long and then stock shelves all night and then go to high school next day. So
Oh yeah.
it was I wanted to get into a ski shop right away, so then I got a job at Canyon Sports, the
Nice.
base of
Okay.
Big Cottonwood.
Yeah.
Tuned skis there and a bunch of ripping skiers there, and had a bunch of fun there. And then I was like, getting to the point where I saw a couple guys get hurt really bad, and I'm like, one of them got hurt without insurance, and just like, what the fuck is skiing? Like if you get hurt, it doesn't mean anything. And like, what am I doing out here? Should I go get a job? And I got a chance to go work in the State House in Boston. And I worked as a legislative aide for the Republican leader at the time, this guy Frammery from the South Shore.
How does that transition work?
It was horrible. It was
Like,
horrible.
who'd you know at the State House to even get that
It was
job?
horrible. I knew some people in and around there. My grandfather had been a rep way back in the day.
Yeah.
So like the Clarks and a bunch of guys still kind of knew him. He was kind of a legendary guy when he was there. But I started as an aide, and I wrote a bill for a firefighter that actually had died on the way to a training exercise, and his family wasn't getting any money for it. So I
Yeah.
just wrote a bill. The whole other side, all the analyst side, was all poli-sci guys, and I was like, an English major, and I was an aide. But I wrote this bill. The leader liked it. He sent it over to the policy side. They tuned it up, and it helped them. It became an amendment. It became an MGL, and the guy's family got paid. So they bounced me over to the analyst side, and then I was there for 2.5 years as a policy analyst I worked on the big environmental bomb bill that year. Worked in a bunch of public service shit, and like it was crazy because the RLO, Republican Leaders Office, was a small office, like small team. You'd be running up during full formal sessions, getting these bills, trying to figure out what they'd say, and then the whole leadership would come down, and it'd all be sitting at a table, and you have to brief them all of what's going on with this bill, how to vote, because they're so busy, and there's a million votes, and they need help, Cliff Notes kind of style. But
Yeah.
the lieutenant governor was a rep then. Scott Brown was a rep then. I worked with Romney kids when he was running, and for governor.
Yeah.
So I got to meet a lot of people, and it was like a second education there for sure.
Yeah.
And I was on path and took my LSAT, and I was going to go to Suffolk at night and on that whole path. And I had a friend, Brian Connor, whose wife worked at Leadham Helmets, and he said, you should, I was kind of losing it a little bit. Wearing a suit every day, they yelled at me if my hair wasn't too tight. Great world, great people, super intense world, and not for a lot of money either.
Yeah.
And
You were about the tight pants even back then. Huh?
I was just like, so I had a chance, and I went to go work for Leadham Helmets with this crazy guy, Dennis Leadham, and never a big fan of the Leadham helmet, the product. I always thought it was wicked janky. It looked like a Air Force pilot hat or some shit. Like
There's
the helmet.
25-year-old Leadham helmets still rocking.
I don't even know. I'm not
If
even
you
sure I know
Google
what.
one of those things.
Yeah,
my buddies would
yeah.
dress up like fucking Maverick and Goose for Halloween. They'd wear that shit. I mean, it looked like a, but it was a super safe helmet. But I hated wearing it. And we made a couple models, and I was there for a while, learned the snow biz a little bit.
These are like ski race
Stormtrooper
helmets,
style.
basically.
Yeah, not
kinda,
even. I don't
right?
think they were not even race helmets. They were just like.
Sort of like a cross
They're
between
they're like a geriatric.
Yeah.
It looked like you could ride a scooter.
Helmets
around.
were so small back then. There was like 2 brands, right? So whatever they
Right.
fucking made, if you wanted to wear a helmet, you'd have to make it. Dudes were wearing hockey helmets, and no one was wearing helmets.
No.
It wasn't until Sonny Bono and Kennedy died, right?
Dudes started hugging
Then it fucking
trees. Yeah, and then
Dude,
it
I
kinda
got
took off.
97 or 8. I got my head split open by this girl snowboarding.
Jesus.
She hit me, and it split my head open. And I was like, my parents were like, you got to wear a helmet.
97?
This was 97.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Actually, this might have been, I was,
22.
yeah, no, I was,
18?
shit, I don't remember. I was 12, I think, in
Well, how old are you?
97.
How old are you?
I'm 35. I just turned
Jesus.
Not
35.
that old.
Dude, I'm almost 10 years older than
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I know, you're old.
It's fucked up.
But and so they were like, you got to buy a helmet. You need a helmet. So I got like a shitty like ProTech or something. It was, because I was like, oh, this looks cool. It kind of looks like a skate
Looks like a
helmet.
yeah.
And it was so bad. I wore it 3 times. You would have thought I would have,
Kept it on.
and that was it. I didn't wear a helmet again,
yeah.
really, until I met you guys.
So
And
made
it was
you wear one.
probably 10. It just wasn't cool. It was like nobody.
not cool.
Why
We
would
made
you
'em
wear a
cool.
helmet?
Made them cooler.
But they were really. I mean, back
For
then
a
though,
second,
it
they were
was
kinda
like
cool.
styrofoam,
Yeah.
and there was like no padding. It was super
Yeah,
cold.
I mean, those are skate helmets that sell to snow.
Yeah.
Dennis got squeezed out of that gig, and then he approached me, and he's like, I'm going to start another helmet brand, and I want you to come do it with me. And I was like, dude, first of all, you're fucking crazy. He's an awesome dude. And then, but I was like, you know, he dreamed big, and I said, fuck it. I didn't want to work in the State House. And, you know, we would meet in Boston. He showed me his business plan and what he wanted to do. And I came on as the first employee there and as the marketing dude. And then this guy, Adam Godwin, came on as the third employee. And we worked out of his barn with a wood stove, very similar to kind of how I started 1620. And we just were right place, right time for helmets. We designed them with this guy, Jonathan Baker, out of Oregon now. He's got a really cool bag brand. Lando, have you seen his bag brand on Instagram?
No. What is it?
It's fucking super cool. I gotta give him a shout out. He does like all these super green. He's like an amazingly talented designer. He did a bunch of shit for
We'll
Cascade
allow this free ad.
Yeah, next time this is gonna cost money.
Remember
yeah.
us.
It's only our
Jonathan
second
Baker.
one, so
Anyway, I can't remember a name enough to search for on Instagram. But
It's because he didn't pay for it.
he does all these crazy green recyclable bags for like grocery stuff,
we
and
have pulled
just
up?
all kinds of like rad bags. He made an amazing. It's like EDQ,
Jonathan.
EQ.
Jonathan
Oh, here it is.
Baker.
Here it is. It's EQPD gear.
Yes, I
Equipped
see
gear.
it. Last bags.
Yeah, and he makes.
Oh, that's
he's made
cool.
an amazing mask. But anyway, this
Wow.
this guy's
Those are
really
cool.
the guy behind how we grabbed so much market share. You know,
brim.
we tweaked it and we massaged it and everything, but like that brim design,
It's iconic.
you know, was his. You know, he was a kayaker. He had that kayak helmet, and
Right.
he did a different. You know, and he had this assistant, George Sawyer, who also is like this amazing artist up in Vermont. Now his Instagram is called Sawyer Made, and he makes these insane handmade chairs, like his family business.
Okay, that's your second shameless plug. You only get 3 for
Well,
the
these
whole
guys
show.
could these guys could be sponsors. But yeah,
up,
we're right
email
place,
us.
right time, and got to build Bern. I was
But-
there for 15 years.
What did that brim do? Was that did
Everyone
anybody
thought
else?
it's funny you say kayak helmet. Everyone thought it was a batter's helmet, you know,
Yeah.
all the time. Batter's helmet, batter's
Did
helmet.
anybody
Capex.
else have a brim on a ski or snowboard hat at the time?
Capex had this like snowboard helmet that was like a OEM of a
That was-
baseball bat or something.
Right,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
It
deal.
was
Yeah,
designed
yeah,
to be worn backwards,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it never was certified because it was really small, like skate pads.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Sweet helmets had like their kayak helmet, which is like a long baseball style brand. It
Yeah.
really worked for keeping water out of your eyes.
Yeah.
We did this like really that just created this like top seal, which is
Yeah.
great for New England because of the rime and shit you
Right.
deal with. Like top of your goggles that always get fucked. Now like every single helmet walks out over the top of a goggle.
That was before goggles were oversized too, so you'd get the gap with almost every
Super
helmet you
gap,
wore. Yeah.
And a lot of times it just like there was never any helmet that fit good with goggles. They just weren't round. They weren't. It was just no one gave a shit about the category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, who the fuck's wearing helmets? No one.
Right.
Right.
Business it amounts to like fucking like wrist guards.
Until you make it a fashion statement.
To me,
it's-
fashion,
That's
yeah.
that was the key.
and that brim
Which
launched
is
you
funny
guys
'cause
really.
it's like
right?
logically like it's the first thing people see. Like, what's on your fucking head?
Yeah.
You should try to make it as cool as you possibly can.
Right.
Then we got this fucking crazy intern, and his first assignment I gave as an intern was to go to Boston and fucking. Can I say this in the podcast?
you can say that. Yeah, it's fine.
Go to
You
Boston.
can say anything you
Go to
want.
Boston
Yeah,
and get
we
an
don't
ounce
give
of
a
weed
fuck.
for the office. Like this is your first day.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Second or third day.
The funniest thing was, so I like emailed you guys. I don't even remember how I found out about Bern, but I've noticed you guys were in Plymouth, and my family had moved to Wisconsin. We always came back to the Cape for the summer,
Yeah.
and I was wanted to be in the industry since I was freaking 12, you know.
For
so
sure.
cold called you or emailed you, found your email somehow. You called me back. I was in fucking high school. I'm like, oh, sick. Like,
I remember being
I
like a
remember
really
the
good email.
message.
Yeah.
because you said like, oh, dude, you must be from Massachusetts. You talk fast as shit.
You were already plugged in. You already knew everything about it, and I wanted to
I
build it.
guess you took a
Yeah.
pretty good risk on me, which
Yeah,
is hilarious. So I showed up to Dennis's house, and I thought for sure I was at the wrong fucking place.
Weren't you
Like,
just in Utah, like doing shit for Tanner Hall and shit though?
No, that was
That was a
after.
couple years after. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. No, I was still in high school. Graduated high
There's
school.
my
and
memory for you.
Wow.
and came out, and yeah, you sent me the directions to the office. I rolled up to a house. I was so fucking confused. So I knock on the door, like Dennis's babysitter comes out. She's like, "Oh, Bern, yeah, they're upstairs over there."
I remember her.
You guys were out of a house at that time?
Yeah, we were out of his
Garage.
garage.
Wow.
Built like
Yeah.
a little office up top. We heated it with
Pretty
wood.
fucking hilarious.
Wow.
No one wanted to be the first one in there in January. Let me tell you, the stove was terrible. Such a shitty stove. It took forever to heat.
I
that
brought the
place up.
mini fridge
You
from
love
my
skiing
parents'
though.
house.
You
to
love
give
skiing, and
guys.
you wanted fucking.
Yeah, it was the deal.
You
I
were
wanted to get
passionate
in
about it, yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
So like that's I've never understood dudes who work in the industry like don't love it, like don't.
Right.
I'd be on snows and like
Yeah.
all these reps are like talking shit, this and that. And it's just like, bro, like I've never seen you with
Do
fucking ski or
something
snowboard. I've never
else.
seen ski or snowboard
Yeah.
boots on your feet.
Yeah,
And I've seen you in the industry for fucking 10 years. Like, what the fuck? Why don't you go sell cell phones?
The
Yeah.
perks
What are
are
you
the
doing?
reason you're
Yeah.
in that industry,
Right.
right?
If you don't shred, like, how can you sell shit to people?
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me. It's never made any sense to me. I understand if guys are older reps and they got hurt skiing and they're still selling it because they love it and they want to be
Yeah.
around
Right.
it. And there's a few of those guys.
There's a lot of those stories. Yeah.
That like can't be on snow every day. But dude, there were some motherfuckers that like I've never ever saw shred. And like they're in the business for like fucking 20, 30 years. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But that's the snow
It's
business.
the land of misfit toys.
Yeah, it's the snow business. Some people are, get a
It's,
good line. You get a good line. I mean, reps back in the day made insane money.
Oh my
I
God.
think you were the one who told me though. You said it's a beautiful rainbow, but there's no pot of gold at
There's
the
no
end of it.
pot of gold at the
That's a
end.
pretty good.
It was a great analogy. Yeah,
pretty
that
good
always stuck with me.
explanation.
You know, I think you got to be in the front office of that thing. It's tough to be. You know, it was a unique opportunity to be an officer and build a brand, but you know, repping and there's just a lot of gigs in and around the deal where it's just, you know, companies hire kids, they burn them out.
Yeah.
You know, Lando you had to fight out a couple of those roles to get to a good role, and like,
Yeah.
you know, like.
Well, yeah, you guys got me started, and then I think, you know, between the three of you encouraged me to move out to Utah and went to college for a semester, got super bored, and just told my parents I was taking online classes, drove to Utah, lived behind a couch for 3 months.
Skied a lot though, right?
Yeah, kept emailing you asking, hey, Josh, can I make some money
When
somehow?
do you
What
have
can
a
I
budget
do?
to hire me?
What can I do?
I remember this part of it.
I launched your first Facebook page.
Yep.
Pissed Dave Whittemore off a lot, putting weird stuff on the website.
Yeah. This was like when MySpace had just ended, basically.
Probably, yeah.
Bern
It was
would
like
be first on a MySpace
2009.
page.
Yeah.
It wouldn't, like back then, they would like, we can't put your social media on these print ads. Like, no one cares. Like,
Yeah.
Ah, dude, yeah, you're right. Like,
It was- it
you
used to
were
be a
probably one of
fight.
the first, like, brand
Used
managers
to be a
throwing social
fight.
media on there.
we tried.
Yeah.
You were definitely way ahead of the curve digitally. Way
little
ahead of the
bit.
curve of what was going to drive people's interests in around it. You know, for the
Helps.
betterment of brands, I think, and the betterment for like guerrilla brands, but I think for like it's sad to see what's happened to the media in around shredding and surfing and all these sports. And it's
Right.
just, cause I'm a magazine guy, man.
Yeah.
And I miss it.
What year did you start with Bern?
Bern was 2004.
It was 04?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long. I mean, when you think about that, you think back.
Really 03.
We
when I
didn't have
started working on
Facebook
it.
then. We didn't have YouTube.
Was MySpace was the first thing.
Instagram wasn't
Right.
even an
From
idea.
MySpace to my place.
Yeah.
It was just like fucking best place to chase.
You didn't even
chicks.
have all my links back then. It was like
No.
it was, what was there? There
It
was
just
nothing.
a really different world. There was a lot of print publications, and there was a lot of
Yeah.
events, and there was a lot of shows. And the regional show schedule back then was fucking insane.
Still is, for some reason.
You know, it's a good world though. It's a healthy world. It's a good world. Guys, you know, they want to be outside. They want to be having fun. They're-
Most people are in it for the love of it, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, yeah.
I think it pulls some people in for the right reasons. The majority of people, right?
It's unique. I don't know many other worlds, so.
Dude, what a strange world. And that's the whole thing too. Is like once you're in it, like it not that it taints you, but like you,
Yeah.
no matter what, even what I'm doing right now, like so much of it is pulled from like what
Well,
I think is cool, because like to be a good marketer in the action sports world, man, like you're marketing to like the coolest fucking 17 to like 22-year-old kids in the room.
yeah.
Like it's the toughest. I think marketing in action sports
doing
is the
it right,
toughest
yeah.
marketing role ever. You're not selling fucking Rolaids. You're not selling fucking
Yeah.
tampons. Like you're
Selling
trying to
shit people don't need.
get a zillion different brands
Right.
competing for
Oh,
the same
dude.
amount of money, because it never really grows.
No.
And it's all about who's the fucking coolest in the room. So like it makes you a really good marketer, no doubt.
Didn't realize that till I got to a ski brand. Helmet brand, few helmet brands. Car racks, 2 brands. Ski
Yeah.
brands. Whew. There's a lot of brands.
There's a
Are
lot of
there-
It's
brands,
tough to cut through the noise for sure.
Yeah.
Are there any other industries you think that are like having as much fun though, and as you know, the level of like the shit that's going on in the background, the partying?
I think
and,
probably
like,
the cannabis industry. These
yeah,
days.
well, maybe.
Who
Yeah,
knows,
that's. I
dude?
mean,
like, I feel like the cannabis industry, especially here in
It's got pretty biz,
Massachusetts,
it's
it's
got pretty
super
biz, yeah.
corporate. Dude.
it's
like,
it's very regulated.
you need
got
millions
pretty
of,
biz,
you need
like-
millions of dollars
Dude,
just to
fucking-
get
If
in.
this was a dispensary, we would have 36 cameras in this room. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it
like
was
and
the heyday,
live
too, where,
feed to
like,
the government
It
too.
was a heyday when, like, you know, Skull Candy was printing money, so like
Right.
every show that would be Snoop or whatever, and like you'd have some brands that just like, how big is my dick? Every fucking national
Yeah.
show, so like Yeah, the party scene was fucking retarded.
That has
It was
changed.
retarded.
That has changed.
Like I just, you know, when Vegas, I
the
heard some
stories from SA in Vegas are fucking
dude.
insane. Yeah.
place used to be really crazy. I mean, it was pretty. They tried to move the times back.
Yeah.
My third time there because just no
like
one could
March
get to
or something?
No, the time of day when
Oh.
the show started because
No
no
one
one
can
could
make
get to the fucking booth.
That's pretty good.
Nobody ever. My first SAA, I had meetings. Like first thing in the morning, and I would go. No one would go. No one would be there. And then it wouldn't be till noon that people would start showing up, and I
For
was
real.
like, "What the fuck am I doing? I'm all hungover. No one's showing up to these meetings." And then, like the second and third day of that, I was like, "Oh, I get it now." Like, we all made these meetings, but nobody
No
is
one's
going to
making
come
it.
to a meeting
Yeah.
before noon.
What's the drunkest you ever been in a meeting? You ever have to
Ah,
leave a
pff,
meeting because you're
I
like
was
sick?
I went to
I
this
had to leave
meeting.
meetings like, oh my god, I gotta go.
I went to this meeting and I don't even know what the fuck it was, and it was I honestly can't even remember. Some brand I'd never even heard of. Somebody made the meeting, and I show up there and they had those floors that are like raised, they're like a foot high, and
Yeah.
they're like that cheap like plywood shit. It's like black. It's like, but it's supposed to look expensive.
For sure.
And I was in there and I was talking to the guy, and the floor is like it's moving. And I'm talking to this guy, and I was so hungover.
Fear
I
and
was like,
Loathing
dude, I
shit.
sure I thought I was gonna throw up in the booth. And I was like, yeah.
Dude,
And
your
I
floors are
realized like
unstable,
5
man.
minutes into it, I was like, this is not
Dude,
gonna
the
work out.
worst.
And I pieced out of that thing, and I was like, I'm never doing a meeting before. At least I'll try like 10:30, 11.
Yeah, more
But-
reasonable time.
No, it was.
But there were some operators during those times, and you watched them, and you watched how they kind of navigated the whole deal and what they were able to build from those years, and it was big. Like a guy like Bryce Phillips. I was pretty tight with Bryce. He rode for Bern. He was super good to us and super good to me. He did not need to ride for us. He could get contracts from anybody. He just liked the product and liked the brand, the style. But I was privy to like watching what he did and have meetings with him when he was the buyer, when he was just getting Evo going and like one
Starting
of
out
our
of
first
his
dealers,
house,
and just how he operated in that whole deal and how he kind of stayed above the fracas. And fucking dude is so smart, so talented, and has built like the most insane successful business. And like there was definitely, I pulled a lot of that shit out of there, being like, man, this is fun, but we're definitely fucking flailing, right? We could be a way stronger brand. But my job wasn't to be senior leadership of the company. My job was to make it cool. So I was kind of trapped.
Yeah, but you were a lot of the people person of the
Right.
company. You were talking to everybody. You were meeting with everybody. I mean,
For sure.
Networking.
in one way, you were a lot of the
That's a big part of it.
networking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in my partner's defense and the brand defense, we were all pretty young, and success came pretty fast to it, and it was some crazy growth, and we tried to manage it the best we could for those years. And we went from doing like no money to an 8-figure company in like 6 years. So
It's
that's
crazy.
that's pretty quick growth when it's
Wow.
not a huge employee set. You go from like 3 dudes in a barn to like 45 international distributors and fucking like 18, 19 employees at one time in at Fred's compound, and just the most insane stories.
And you're going to Europe for shows.
Yeah.
You're going
Europe
all
for
over the
shows.
country.
I got to go to Australia. I go all over Europe. I can honestly say, sitting here, if there's a ski hill in this country, in a state, I have skied there. If it's Michigan, if it's Wisconsin,
Right, you
if it's
fit every
California,
state,
if it's
yeah.
Oregon.
What
Every
about
single regional
Arizona?
show.
There's one outside
Actually,
of Tucson.
I haven't
Snowball.
been in up to Snowball. I have not skied.
That shit's
Northern
crazy,
Arizona.
man.
heard
I
it's
was
sick
there
up
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I haven't
I didn't
been there.
ski it, but it was wild.
I've been by there,
South
all through
Dakota?
Bryan Head and shit. I have not been to trash heaps in South Dakota. I haven't.
See,
But-
yeah, of course
So
we're
I'm
gonna be
full of shit,
assholes.
but I'd say probably say
Challenge.
75%
I
of the
think
hills.
South Dakota's got
Yeah.
985 feet vertical.
Dude, to go to like
Dude.
Tyrol Basin at night and see
Tyrol
all these
Basin's-
kids shredding on like fucking cement and then eating cheese curds and smashing beers is just like the best dudes. Like, the
Tyrone's
Midwest dudes
basement is the best place ever, man.
I learned so much from Midwest.
We had
dudes
this
of
event called
how to
Spring
treat
Jam
people.
back in the day. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like everyone would show up, set up their own stuff.
Yeah.
People would camp out at this hotel called the Kalahari or something nearby. It was hilarious.
Every regional show I went to, building the brand, whether it was Oregon was pretty cool because there were some good people there, but like it was always like reps are like, who the fuck are you, like this and that, like except the Midwest. Man.
Midwest
those dudes
dudes
were
are
so
fucking
cool.
all-time.
Introduced me to everybody right
Yeah.
away. Like it was just
What was the
really, really
perception
cool.
though? I mean, we're talking about an industry. I know what it was like for me in the beginning, but an industry that's largely dominated by the West Coast and Colorado, but it's really a California culture. And you guys are coming in from New England with like this hot new product. I mean,
New
how
England
were
riders
people
and
looking at you
small
guys in the
skiers.
beginning? They must have been like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah, dude. I mean, and our regional show setups at the beginning were fucking, and our national show setups at the beginning were kind of janky.
I remember I first SA the Brock foam floor.
Oh god, dude, that thing was so hard to
It's
set
this
up.
open cell foam.
Yeah.
It's just
We got lucky with really good distributors right
Yeah.
away, because there wasn't a lot of opportunity to distribute helmet brands in some of these places. Like, dude, like in Bavaria and like Austria and Germany, like shredding is like it makes everything in the States look like
it's
fucking
like
nothing,
fucking
dude.
football over here.
Looks
Yeah.
like nothing. Like, you know, every kid gets in the train, shreds every weekend. It's culture, it's life.
80% of Austrians have skied.
Yeah, and all it was just Euro shit. So like an American kind of skate inspired thing that guys were skiing in, because they're skiers, right? They didn't want to see just snowboarders in it, and I was a skier, so I made sure I sponsored skiers right away. And it was rider driven back then, man.
It was rad
like,
going over there last year and seeing a lot of Bern still on the
there's
hill.
still a lot on the hill there. Yeah,
It's crazy.
we had some great distributors out of Germany and just some awesome cats.
People love it.
Yeah, it's a crazy place. Don't like the food. Love love the hills. Love how they
Dude,
make
you can deal with the food for like 2 days and then you're like, I'm about to gain some weight on this
Yeah.
trip.
They make it accessible though, right? I mean, I don't know. I haven't been over there for a few years, but I
Yeah.
remember when I was there, like lift tickets and lodging were really reasonable.
Oh, it still is.
And
yeah.
like gear is crazy fucking expensive. and all
Ishkal
this kind of
tickets were
stuff.
still like €60.
So they make it accessible for people. Where
Yeah.
like I don't know what's gonna happen to shredding in the States because
Dude, this reservation system that's going on with the Epic Pass, I waited the other day 4 hours just to reserve 7 days on the hill.
I don't know how that's gonna work. I got hopes about this vaccine. I got hopes about some stuff settling down.
Yeah.
But the lift ticket prices in general all over the country.
It's messed up. It's cheaper to
You know,
buy that season pass now than
I mean,
go
dude,
to
the
the
best
hill.
kids I ever sponsored were fucking dirtbag kids from single parents, bro, and like skiing, snowboarding saved their whole fucking deal. And
Anybody
they
that
loved
comes
it,
out of
and
a
they
ski
revered
town.
it, and they
Yeah.
worked at it, and they were fucking got really good.
Yeah.
You know, and then towards the end of it, it was just fucking prep school kids, coaches, money. It changed a lot.
Well, especially like the freestyle scene. Yeah.
The Olympics and the levels of
Yeah, that's
contest and
what
the money, it
changed it.
changed a little.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of these things may be going away, and X Games not really mattering as much, and these things changing. Maybe it'll go back to some of the dirt bags again. But I just don't know how those kids will get on the hill.
Yeah, how do they find it in the first place?
I don't know how they get
You
on
know,
the hill.
Right.
Where do they get the stuff?
Yeah.
How do they afford it? You know, is it on the Christmas list? I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
So-
fast forward, I don't
Maybe
know.
a couple of years.
Yeah.
Let's stay on track a little bit there. Tell us a little bit about IDGAF Industries.
Yes, during this time, you started another company.
This probably would have been the one that we would have gotten rich at. Lando and I had this idea.
Yes, tell
And
them.
this was our idea first. We wanted to fucking send gummy bear or chocolate covered gummy bear dicks to people, and you'd be able to order fucking bags of
Bag of
dicks and
dicks.
send them to people.
Yeah.
People who don't like doing it anonymously. The whole way that kid's
this
business
was
is set up,
2010. Yeah.
I think that kid's business, I think he fucking banked on it.
There's
So
multiple
he stole this from you. This was after you guys,
we
right?
must have been fucking.
If I ever knew more about domain, that was you knew all about fucking domains and shit back
I didn't
then.
know how to make gummies though.
If we ever try to protect that idea and mail a letter to ourselves, the idea
Now I've got
written out.
6 friends that grow weed that know how to make gummies.
I'll never forget though. You posted a photo on Facebook and it said,
IDGAF.
and it was like a piece of mail came in to IDGAF Industries, and you said, "I'm so proud of how far we've come and everything we
send
are."
it
And I
to
was like,
yourself?
"What the fuck is this IDGAF Industries?" I'm like,
Remember that day?
and I'm like,
how
he's
did that
working
even
for
show up?
Bern.
We
Did
like
you?
registered IDGAF somewhere? And we got like junk mail from someone or something.
Did we
It was
buy
like,
a
"For
domain
real."
or something?
We did get a domain, I think. Yeah.
I've had so many good domains over the years I let expire.
That's a fucking, it might not be a Supreme $2 billion idea, which, did you guys hear about that shit?
What?
No.
Supreme sold today to VF for $2.1 billion.
They
Really?
sold the VF.
Yeah,
That's a
2.1
sellout move.
billion.
That brand's gone now.
The founder didn't, some other guy, Keith something,
Did you say billion?
$2.1 billion
For Supreme?
to VF.
Whoa.
That's insane.
Yesterday?
It's insane. Yesterday.
Damn.
Wow.
Or this morning.
That
Fucking
is
nuts.
crazy.
But
And they gave him a T-shirt. They're like, "Oh, this is a lot of money. Here you go. Thank you."
White t-shirt,
I just
box
don't-
logo.
I mean, I don't understand what VF is good for the fucking Supreme dudes, but I don't understand what VF's thinking because brands jump sharks, and the quickest way for a
Well,
brand to jump shark
oh,
is
that's
VF
done.
is
VF.
to buy it.
VF is, yeah.
I mean, they're awesome at what they do. They're huge in workwear. They own tons of workwear brands.
Yeah, but are they gonna
Maybe
realize
they'll buy
that?
1620 someday.
Are they gonna
Not
realize
talking
that the
shit.
low numbers, like
I just feel like
Built Supreme?
streetwear brands have there's a life cycle.
it's the aftermarket shit
Like,
too?
you
Stock
know,
X.
Massimo could have sold for fucking $1 billion in the 80s,
Sure.
right? But
Sure.
there's a life cycle to these things.
Yeah.
How are you gonna scale? You're gonna make Supreme Gore-Tex jackets, maybe.
I think they already
I
have.
don't know. They probably do it. They definitely already have them, right?
Well, they did all the North Face stuff.
They did all North Face
Makes
gloves.
sense,
That's
yeah.
how their relationship's probably with them. But hey, listen, my hat's off to those kids.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
brand's
yeah.
not that old, right?
Talk about riding into the sunset.
That's
Brand's
probably
not-
like
I mean-
that's around the same time as Bern, probably 04, no 08,
Wow.
somewhere.
I never
in there.
took on any outside like VC money. It was like internal friend money. One of the guys who has money, I guess, was a big venture dude, but it wasn't like officially
was a
like
homie.
VC money. Yeah, it's a homie.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
Burn Evolution.
Burn Evolution. I
You
started
go
to see
through.
Yeah, I mean when Lando
and
when Lando
then-
left. To be honest
it all
with you,
went
like
That was it. Yeah, you got sad.
I was like, I'm out of here.
That was
Got
it.
really sad.
No, but it was actually eye opening because some of the reasons why he said, listen, we were fighting so hard to sell direct at that time, him and I both.
Yeah.
And in defense of Bern,
We
and
did
what they were thinking is they really wanted to continue to support retailers more because everyone was kind of jumping ship, and I think they were able to ride that for a few years, but we were just slow to digital, and I could see the writing on the wall in terms of how difficult the accessory category was going to be. Our snow numbers are already getting tougher. We built a pretty strong bike brand.
All those
and
big brands would leverage us out. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's making a
It's
helmet.
tough. It's
Yeah.
tough biz, and you know, it was just I wanted to do some other stuff too. Like my left knee was affecting how much time on the hill. The kicking for me is I was in Europe, and Goodhart had lined up this insane trip all through the Alberg and had like a couple pro shreds going with us, and photographer was coming. This whole deal was like 10 days. Everything was booked and paid for, and I'd skied in Garmisch the first couple days when I got there, and I
Sick.
tweaked my knee again a little bit because my brace didn't show up in time. My ski bag was late. I was on someone else's skis, and I had to go home. Couldn't go on that trip. My knee was so bad. Then I had surgery like a month later, and that was kind of a wake up call for me. Like I can't be the fucking 50-year-old dude at an on snow fucking trying to sign a regional skier. Be like, yo, you're shredding. You want a helmet? Like if that was me, I think I would sailor dive out of a window. I had to figure out something else, you know.
That
Not that-
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with that
Yeah.
if that's what guys
No.
want to do, you know. But like, I had to do something else, and you know, I've been friends with Ted for a long time at this point, and he was living in mainland China, and we'd see each other at the Munich shows, and I was always wearing Carhartt, always rocking workwear, and I just thought workwear was cool and some pieces and this and that. And he came back and he's like, man, you're always wearing Carhartt. He's like, dude, our biggest customer is this giant German workwear brand, and like North Face and all these brands will come to China and they'll bring
Yeah.
like teams of 20 dudes
Yeah.
and they'll spend all this money and they'll recreate the lines every year. And this brand's run by like a father and son, and it's fucking 75% of our deal. And they've been selling
Whoa.
the same pants for 6 years, and it's
Whoa.
fucking smart biz, and no
Yeah.
one's doing cool shit in the States.
Huh. Didn't realize
You
that.
know, so that's a lot of the brain trust, a lot of the idea comes from my partner Ted, who's a super sharp guy, super smart, and he clawed his way up in that factory in China, and he was managing like $500 million turnover when he left, like really
Wow.
big brands, making a lot of shit, and most of it was this German workwear brand, and like dude, like workwear in the States was just crazy devalued, so we had this idea to try to start a workwear brand, and we identified like a white space where there was no real premium player in it. So that's been my mission for the last almost 5 years now, 4.5 years.
5 years already?
4.5 years.
Shit, dude.
In the lab, like 4 years in the market.
Yeah.
You know, is the camera not working or something?
For the second podcast, technical difficulties. Keeps turning off.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is this?
What the hell's wrong with it?
Hopefully this is still
that's
recording. Hopefully
good.
this is still
Yeah,
recording.
I was
the
just
computer, the
It's still
computers are
recording?
reliable. Yeah.
But the
this
ski
is
industry
the charm
is like,
of
you
the
know,
charm
we're,
of our podcast.
dude, listen, I've heard some really good stories about this industry and like Con, the concrete show, and Metal Con, all
Con.
these shows. Like, dude, like the working guys fucking
That's
go, and their
big.
shows are all still in Vegas when it comes back on.
Yeah.
So we're looking at trade shows right now.
Oh,
so we're gonna
dude.
bring back a little.
I
We're
went
gonna,
down
have a
to,
little, we're gonna bring back a little fun.
So
hopefully
how was
someday.
this different when you first did you guys do any shows? You've done a few. You did what?
Yeah, we did like
Made?
American Field.
Yeah, American
Yeah.
Field. Sorry.
We went to like the PPE show in Indianapolis. And
These
like
have to
walked
be
the-
way
walked the
different
deal.
than like
Yeah, I mean, dude,
snow sports.
But to be honest with you, bro, it's like 20 to fucking 50-year-old dudes
Yeah.
that fucking want to have fun at shows.
Yeah.
And want to buy cool new shit. And there's a lot of cool new shit and tools, and
Right.
boots and
Yeah.
vehicles and in fucking excavators.
constantly changing.
Not much in clothing though.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, the American made move is perfect. Your timing was perfect, I think.
right when the madman was putting some tariffs on some shit, and guys were starting to look at it. It made it difficult for us though because of just contract manufacturing in the States. It got competitive for a little while.
Right.
But listen, man. You can only exploit human beings in societies for so long. They're gonna eventually rise up in places. That's why China's getting so expensive. So now it's like, it's India, it's Pakistan, it's Bangladesh, it's Vietnam, it's sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
I've had some meetings with some big workwear retailers, and they've thrown pairs of pants on the desk, and they've been like, I got this fucking pair of pants for $18, and you're like, you pick it up, and you're like, holy shit, these pants are actually kind of nice.
Sick.
Yeah.
But like somewhere in that, human beings are being exploited.
Sure.
Like
Right.
that shit.
Not
Sewing's
sick.
tough work, man. It's not.
Yeah.
Nothing glorious about proletariat manufacturing jobs in the States, but we need them.
Is it all in Massachusetts now?
I'd say probably 75% of it's in Mass.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
we've
a
got
little bit less.
We've got the history here with all
Yeah,
the
for sure.
linen mills and shoe factories and.
The state just took a big hit recently where Brooks Brothers just shut down. They had a big sewing outfit.
I didn't
in
realize
Haverhill.
they were here.
Yeah, they had like 500 sewers in Haverhill. They had an
Whoa.
old Lowe's building that they tricked all out, state of the art. Like,
Yeah.
eat off the floors, amazing business, amazing people, and so there's 500 sewers in the wind. I mean, listen, like in and around Lawrence and Haverhill and places around here, there's a ton of sewing talent.
Yeah.
So
It's rad.
It must have been hard though to get started with that at first. I mean,
Dude.
you guys are like looking for. The funny thing is, I've had a ton of interns and people work for me, and it was mostly the guys that were better sewers
Huh.
than the girls. They were just
Interesting.
like, yeah, my mom does all the sewing. She's an amazing sewer, so I never sewed anything.
Yeah.
But the guys were like, yeah, I was always pretty good at home ec, and they were always like fucking out here sewing hats and shit. They would sew and sew for like days.
Huh.
We'd sew stuff for shows. And
You tried
This
to
is kinda
teach me how to sew hats once. I fucked it all up.
sewing's tough.
it's not easy.
Sewing's tough. It's like I compare it to like a martial art.
Looks easy.
And literally, when you're looking for like contract manufacturing, you're traveling around the country trying to find where this martial art's still practiced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
cool,
only
it's in our
practiced
backyard.
like certain places, but
Yeah.
it's like it's fucking.
It's like a lost art too. I
it's
don't
like,
think there's.
it's if it wasn't for the federal government still making like military and shit have to be made here,
Yeah.
like the laws that exist, berry compliance and this kind of shit, these places would probably kind of fold up. It's gnarly when you go to these places and you see what the garment industry used to be, and then like what it's become and how it's affected that town and what I mean, like dude, like 75-85% of these people in these towns in North Carolina, Kentucky and shit worked in the garment industry, and then slowly went away. It's very Rust Belt like car manufacturing. So
Yeah.
Right.
like if you love your country and you want to see Americans do well, when you go there, it's like it's stark. It hits you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
We just want shit as cheap as we can get it over here, though. It's
yeah.
a bummer.
Yeah. Can I get 1620 at Walmart yet? Or
Dude,
when will that-
I got
One of the coolest
$14.
when you sell to VF, right?
I think one of the coolest things that's happened to me in this whole deal is the president and CEO of Yeti Coolers came to see us in Haverhill. This dude Matt Rentis, who's
Oh,
an
sick.
amazing guy, and hung with us and took us to dinner.
and how did he find you guys? First of all,
I think he's just a guy who's out there who finds stuff under rocks or small brands that are doing cool shit, and like he's just really plugged in. He's super sharp and smart, and it's flattering that he noticed us.
probably
and
has a team of like 6 people searching the country. They're like, check this
he's
out.
the man, dude.
That's
Like,
awesome.
And
That's
he's
cool.
he stewarded that company through some tumultuous times and to a really strong IPO and a strong stock. And if you look at like what their SKU count is and what they do for revenue, they're not selling a ton of shit.
Yeah.
They can reinvent stuff with colors better than like probably any brand.
Yeah.
But he said to
They're
me,
selling a 5-gallon bucket for like what, $50 or
Dude,
something. It was
yeah.
brilliant.
The pack
It
of
was
the
like
foam
inside.
it's like,
Pack
oh,
of
it's
the bucket.
fucking teal and it
I
says
had that
Yeti on it.
I have it
Everybody
taped up
wants
on
it.
my wall from the catalog. It's a study in like that is the ultimate marketing, to take a bucket and make it fucking that aspirational. A
Yeah.
fucking bucket.
Yeah.
It's orange at Home
Genius.
Depot for $3.
Yeah.
That's,
They,
you think you're a marketer? Fucking
Yeah.
go sell fucking $25 million worth of buckets.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Pretty impressive.
Right? Like amazing. And he, what he said to us, he says, Walmart has fucked up the American consumer mentality. And one of the
Amazon's
truer words
probably
have
made it
never really
worse.
been spoken, because people just expect that, I can get fucking a Russell Athletic fucking shirt for $3. And you're just like, because Walmart can make 25-50 cents on these things. And I've learned a lot of like pricing and margins in the rag game. I don't know that much. Ted is an expert. He's taught me a bunch to kind of understanding, but it definitely, everything in that whole store skews what people think the value, the ancillary cost of like getting that t-shirt in the store. It's in, like,
Yeah.
it's so far out of whack that people just don't understand what value is now. Like, listen, it's great that these places exist. It's not, a coincidence that they exist in places that where their poverty levels are high,
Yeah.
and they have to exist, just
Yeah.
like, a dollar store.
Dollar General. Yeah.
It is what it is, and it's one of those necessary things. But,
Everywhere.
I used to do a lot of my Christmas shopping at Walmart when I was broke, because you walk in there and you get everyone's gifts for fucking $50 and everyone's stoked. There's a lot of
think you
sick
do.
shit in there, dude. I'm not blaming it, but people's mentality is like,
Yeah, sorry, Roxanne. Yeah, this is what you're getting this year.
It's really nice.
Dude,
It's from
she
Walmart.
loves Walmart. I mean, I don't think anyone hates it. You know, and like the original Walton family, I think the original Walton dude probably had a different idea about all, but you know, it gets morphed into what it is. I had a chance to go heli skiing in Blue River, and I went to Wiggly World for this East magazine. And the week I got there, the week before, the whole Walton family from Walmart was up there.
Wow.
And all the dudes were like, fucking, they came in here, and they're all in like their buses and their fucking RVs and shit, and they didn't like come to the restaurant, go to the stores or anything. They just brought all their own food, all their own shit.
No way.
They just like
Didn't spend any money. They just.
it's like, so that's I
That's-
think it's a
that's
little
interesting.
it's telling
That's a
about
little
the
interesting,
telling
yeah.
about how who's running it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's dude, these for-profit corporations they're fucking gnarly.
We thought we could start a podcast for $100 off Amazon. We ended up buying the same microphone 3 times.
It's the same one. It's just
Different name on each
rebranded.
microphone.
Everyone,
Yeah. With a different. It has a different model number on each one, but it's.
But how cool is it? Guys who have reselling stores and shit have become millionaires.
Yeah.
Guys
yeah.
that played the
absolutely.
platform. It's definitely created a lot of opportunity too. Just like
It saved a lot of people's ass
Walmart's
through this
kept a lot
COVID
of
thing.
yeah, just like Walmart's kept a lot of businesses and they gotta run out and buy 8 bags of chicken wings for their fucking their restaurant. Like, you know, it is what it is. I mean, listen, capitalism is like that leveling field. You know, it's
The guys who are able to pivot and figure it out are crushing it right now.
there's
So and on that level, who's trying to knock you guys off? I mean, obviously, you guys
5
came
years in, there's got to be people now.
You guys,
right?
yeah, you guys came out with this category.
Yeah.
Let's do like American-made,
Yeah.
high-end, really nice workwear. 1620. Shame, that's your third plug.
1620usa.com. That's you know, people just thought we were batshit crazy. We're trying to sell $228 pants to this customer. And no one wanted to fuck with it. Still, no one really does want to fuck with it. It's still really difficult. You need like a ton of social proof and a ton
Yeah.
of reviews and a ton of people, and you have to make product that checks off because the customer is just no bullshit, right? He will destroy your shit. He will destroy everything he touches, and he's a real guy. And you got to make stuff that's really good. Luckily, my partners made amazing product. We've got great manufacturing partners, and it's held up. And you know, it's grindy the first few years, but you get it out there and it holds up. And these guys, they're loyal and they have a cultish following. I mean, a couple brands have tried to copy some fabrics. We've had one brand that kind of started the same time we did it, like really kind of copied our copy a lot and like our messaging, and it was eerily similar. And we were in the marketplace before them, and they had raised money from a big VC company. They will remain nameless. But I don't hate them because I think what they're doing is cool, and it's getting people to look at workwear differently and kind of rising tide to change it, because there's just a couple big players in it. And to be honest with you, like Carhartt, the biggest player, they've been like super good to us. I got a friend, a VP of marketing there, this guy Brian. He's been really cool. Tons of advice. Talked to the CEO, talked to the owner, Mark Valade,
Oh, nice.
and they've been really good to us. And they've given us some opportunity to potentially even make some stuff in their factories. They still own 2 factories in Kentucky
Wow.
and in Tennessee. And they've made more garments in America, I think, than any brand, even Levi's. Like they've
Wow.
made like millions and millions.
I know
of
Woolrich
garments.
isn't
They still
even
do.
really. It's not all.
Woolrich
American
is kind of
anymore.
like, yeah,
Right?
It's positioned totally different than it used to be. It's like high end, like blankets, like
Yeah.
it's more of like a homeware, like
home good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pendleton.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's funny because I'll scroll down, Facebook, which is just a fucking cesspool.
Yeah.
Fuck these pants, man. I've never
But,
paid this much.
no, I'm not even talking about you guys. But I'll see these ads of like the last pair of tech pants you'll ever own. They're like $42. I'm like, where the fuck are you buying pants for $42 anymore? You can't even like. I shop at TJ Maxx, man. Other than you guys' stuff,
The whole thing with
you
clothing
can't.
is fabric.
How could it be that good? You
Yeah.
It's
know?
fabric. It's just fabric. Like anyone can sew a good pant in terms of sewing construction pretty much anywhere in the world. But if you're using shitty fabric, it's still shitty product.
Yeah.
It's just all about fabric.
Yeah.
And like if you commit to using really high end good fabrics, and there's a lot of them out there, there's a lot in Europe too, and some brands do, like in Arc'teryx and in the snow world, you make the best shit. And if you don't, you don't. But like workwear brands, their goal isn't to make the best shit. It's arguably probably the most wasteful clothing category in the world, because it's shit's designed to get destroyed in the job and thrown away.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so cheap. They just want you to buy fucking 12 pairs a year.
Right.
Just throw them away.
Yeah.
No one's doing anything sustainable. No one's even talking about sustainability, right? It's just like this
Crazy.
cloud in
Untapped.
it. So, yeah, we're
The
trying
next
to
generation.
we're
loves
trying to do like
sustainability, yeah.
get people's old shit, fix it, and resell it with this thing called like the Patina collection, similar to like a worn wear,
Yeah.
or similar to like Arc'teryx as a used program now, and figuring out how that's gonna just keep shit out there, keep shit in the field. I mean, because if you make a pair of pants here, it has a smaller carbon footprint than anywhere else, and if they last, 3, 4, 5x longers. Inherently, it's more sustainable and it's a better story. It's not greenwashing; it's true.
And if you drive a Prius, you're really helping.
And then if you, a ton of our customers roll coal. Don't fucking, our number 1 state's California, number 2 state's Texas. So there's a lot of coal rolling. I don't know if anyone's bought a pair of 1620 pants that drives a Prius.
In a Prius.
If someone's out there.
Somebody's got to come forward. That's a
picture.
challenge.
Send me a picture. If you're wearing 1620s in a Prius, take a picture up front of your Prius. I fucking definitely won't post it.
We'll figure out how to
The
offset.
gauntlet has been thrown down.
We'll offset your carbon for the day.
But
So the cool part about 1622, you were able to move back to the North Shore, right?
back to the Northeast.
Sure.
Back to New England. Back to the North
You
Shore.
were here, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Northeast. That's technically the Northeast. Yeah.
Plymouth,
It
it's
doesn't
kind
really
of
feel like
far.
the Northeast to me.
He was a trader. He was on the South Shore.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
the
this
South
is
Shore.
totally
South Shore guy.
different, dude.
Totally different.
You didn't have the level of
The
infrastructure
big
we
smoke
have up here.
separates you.
Yeah.
Like the North Shore is awesome, right? It's still this really cool underground place. You can be the hills pretty quick, and the ocean's right here, and there's a bunch of state parks. It's not totally blown out. People have fucking horrible accents.
He's a marsh rat. He's back to being a marsh rat.
Back in the marsh.
Yeah,
back
what's
outside.
it like being a marsh man?
Dude, the people shit on the marsh because it smells bad, but they don't know.
What don't they know?
Sandy was so bad for New Jersey and New York because their wetlands and their estuary systems were fucking trashed,
Yeah.
and they never took care of them
Yeah.
properly. The Great Marsh,
People are dumping
the Great
trash
Marsh
and
runs
stuff,
from
or-
Maine to like fucking Connecticut. It's
Whoa.
called the Great Salt Marsh,
Really?
and there's a reason why power plants are on them, and everyone's
Yeah.
made and all manufactured on because for
'Cause it's like open
hundreds
land.
of years everyone's just dumped shit in the marsh because it's this amazing filter and it's living from the fucking top to the bottom, peat and all these crazy plants, and it will filter tons of shit, and for hundreds and hundreds of years it
Really?
filtered every scrap of hard metal and everything we've dumped in it. But places like New York and New Jersey where it was just so unhealthy,
Yeah.
when a storm like that comes, if they had a healthier marsh, they would have fared a lot
Absorbed
better.
it all.
It's just a really big barrier for major storms. So this thing called the Sandy Grant exists where they've spent a lot of money and a lot of good time rebuilding it. It's a lot healthier now. It's a lot better, but it's like the building block for like all fucking that life, and it's a super super important thing. And my grandfather protected it, my dad's protected it, my brother and I do too, and it's kind of
That's
like a
sick.
family thing. That's the one green initiative that I'm really
Yeah, you are.
involved in.
I know you are like deep
I'm involved in it, yeah.
Newburyport. I
It's-
mean,
yeah.
Newbury, not Newburyport.
Oh, excuse me.
Old
Yeah,
town.
I'm sorry.
Different
Yeah.
town.
Old town.
Old Town.
Yeah, Old Town.
Yeah, so
Speaking of this,
explain
I wanted to bring this story up. So I hope you're ready for this. But last time I saw you about a month ago.
Okay.
And so I left 1620, and my buddy was like, "Hey, you want to get a beer?" And so I went over to Sylvaticus, and we got a beer at the brewery. And this guy,
What's Sylvaticus?
it's a brewery over in Amesbury.
I didn't even know.
And we're sitting outside, and we're having a couple beers out there, and this guy comes up and he's like, "Oh," he goes, "You guys look like engineers." And I don't know how the fuck he got that, because I'm wearing like a fucking, I got paint all over me, and I'm wearing like a shirt jacket. I'm like, no. My buddy's like, no. He goes, he's like, maybe software. He's like, I do computers and stuff. And I'm like, nah, dude, I'm not an engineer, but I can build shit. I can, And he goes, yeah, I got this idea. I'm looking for a filmer or whatever. And then he says, he's like, where are you guys from? And I said, I'm in North Shore. I'm in Beverly, and my buddy's in Haverhill. And he goes, I figured you guys are from Newburyport or somewhere around the area. And I said, no. I go, but he goes, well, that's where I'm from. And I said, yeah, I just saw my buddy Walker. He's owns 1620. He's co-owner of 1620. And he goes, oh, the Walker family. And I said, yeah. I said, I was name dropping you guys at the brewery. And he's like, yeah, they're like old Newbury. That family is like, that's deep Newbury. He goes, I live down the road. And he goes, man, when Josh was a little kid, he's like, I gotta tell you, he's like,
Shut the fuck up. I wonder who this is.
I swear to God, I
Wonder
swear
who
to
this
fucking
is.
God. He goes, when Josh was like a little kid, he's like, this is when they were coming out with all those movies, and like Bo Derek was at like the pinnacle of like her career, and his mom rivaled Bo Derek. They were like on the same
That was
level.
shit my whole life. Unbelievable.
So I wasn't sure if you heard this, but he
Dude.
goes, to this day, he goes, my wife still gets jealous if I bring up their name. He's like, he said she was on the same level. I'm like, well, I don't even know, man. He said you were a little kid, but
I always wondered when I was a kid, like, why the lifeguards always just hanging out?
We get a lot of attention at the
What
beach.
is going on? Man? Why is everyone always trying to help my mom carry shit to the car? I just never really
amazing.
understood it.
People are so friendly.
That's
in New
amazing.
She was a superstar. I mean, she like back in the day, she actually went on a few dates with Bobby Orr.
Whoa.
But
Wow.
But my dad said, man, he swept her away.
Nice.
That's a funny story, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's your neighbor. He lives down the road or something. So
Newbury's like just a little cow town. Newburyport is a legit city. Lots of commerce, lots of business.
Has that place changed a lot, or has
It's
it
changed
always
a
been like
lot.
that?
No, it's changed a lot. I
they
mean,
said it was pretty rough in like the 70s, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's you know, it's
now
pretty
it's like a mini.
gentrified.
Now it's like a mini Newport. Like,
Yeah.
I really compare it to like a mini Newport, Rhode Island. It's still growing
It's almost
fast. and
fancier now.
So many New York plates there now. So many Connecticut plates.
It's ritzy driving through
And
downtown
there's,
Newburyport.
lots of $1 million homes, and it's good for builders. It's good for local guys in the trades. It's overall it's good for the area. Money coming in there.
Yeah.
You know, for all the local businesses and stuff that are gonna need it coming out of COVID for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but it's changed a shitload. I mean, when I grew up, the school bus would stop and be stopping at farms, and
Right.
kids would be running up, still smelling like cow shit because
Now
they're
those-
taking care of the cows in the morning. That's like that was multiple bus stops, and that's just
Now
No,
those
it's like-
farms have $31 million, $2 million homes on them,
yeah.
right?
Now it's like 2 operating farms. One, you know, the Tender Crop Farms run by Matt, who's just an awesome guy, and he's keeping the dream alive. He could have sold his properties
Sure.
and sold his farm, and he's not, and he's made a great business. He's a great guy and employs a lot of people. You know,
We used to golf
Tough
at
way
the
to make money.
one at Evergreen.
yeah,
So they called Nevergreen,
yeah,
and it was amazing. It was like a little trailer
yeah.
there, and they had all these bushes. You couldn't even find that. That was the clubhouse. Was the trailer, and I'll never forget. It was an old lady in there. I mean, she was like in her 90s, and we went in one day. It was hot as hell.
Right by the graveyard. Never.
Yeah, and she's like, she goes, "Oh, I hope you boys have something to drink today." And we're like, "Oh, I didn't want to, tell her we had a whole cooler of beers and shit." And she's like, "Do you?" And I said, "Yeah, we got a few beers." And she's like, "Well, do you have any ice?" And I'm like, "No, actually, that's a good point. We don't." She goes in the I shit you not. This is like her house.
Yeah.
Too. She's like watching Matlock in the living room.
Pulls her whole ice tray out.
Yeah,
of
she goes in the freezer and takes her ice trays out and puts them in our cooler. Drops all the ice in it. It was amazing. It was $20. You got a golf cart and you got 9 holes.
Fun little course.
And he's just absolutely
Never green.
getting
That's awesome.
mayhem. And then they sold it. It was the largest, like 2 years. She died. R.I.P. I mean, she was amazing. But they sold it. It was one of the largest tracts of buildable land in
Bunch of shit going up back
Newburyport
Golf
area.
courses
I
are,
mean,
yeah.
millions.
There's,
Millions.
there's one up near Nashua that's going to sell out and become an Amazon warehouse. Fucking so
But you
sad.
guys feel it though, because I mean, listen,
Oh, right
you support
here.
tons of small businesses, Bablo, and what you do, and you have a lot
Absolutely.
of relationships in it. You know, Landrigan, you've seen what big business has done to the shit in our industry that we love, and
Yeah.
how everything's changed. And like,
It's
I
crazy.
think, hopefully we don't lose our fucking soul completely, because like you can't just make hamburgers and cut hair and fucking buy shit
Dude,
on Amazon. Like
if-
that just can't be what we do as a
the,
country.
the whole COVID situation made it brutally clear that this country's ran by corporations.
they're powerful.
Yep.
Super powerful,
Yeah.
and had a little peek into that in my time in politics and how lobbying really works.
Oh,
and,
yeah, dude.
and yeah, it's eye opening. And like, we could do better than that, man. There's so much cool shit. Small business is what is cool.
Built this country, yeah.
It's what in innovation and cool brands and all these things. And
That's what I love
Yeah.
about living in New England, because it's really not like it's unique over here. There's not small businesses all across the country. Like, people don't eat at chain restaurants in New England, and then you get it anywhere outside here, and yeah, it's all chain
Strip malls
restaurants and
everywhere,
strip
yeah.
malls, and yeah,
it's rootsy, especially from here up into like Maine
yeah,
and
the
places
whole-
down and around the Cape.
yeah.
And it's cool. I mean, it's definitely a walk back in time.
Yeah.
You don't get to go to many places in the country where it's like that much of kind of a walk back. And
yeah.
hopefully it doesn't change. I mean, I think New Englanders are fiercely traditional and old school. They fear change. But
Absolutely.
hopefully it doesn't change, and hopefully it stays the same.
No, it's fucking rad here.
But I think once things do, once they sell that golf course, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
Once the Clambachs and the Farnhams, and once those things sell out or whatever it is, it took so long. There wasn't even a seafood stand in this entire town. People
Oh.
are like, "Is the ocean here?" Yeah, it's literally 3 blocks. You walk out of this office, you can see the
Right.
ocean. But the real estate is so expensive. There's no place to eat
Yeah.
up here. These are multi-million-dollar houses,
Right.
So it's kind of hard to turn back once those things are.
Yeah, it's
gone.
true.
Then older generations want to sell out, check out, move to northern Maine. And
Yeah, and it's what I mean.
what's crazy about it is it's the population center of like New York and New Jersey, and how really close it is to us.
Yeah,
And with COVID and with this exodus, and I
Yeah.
have friends who sell real estate in Maine, sell real estate in New Hampshire, and like, you know,
Vermont,
these,
it's insane.
it's just bigger business, bigger economy, scales of economy, so they have more access to being able to move and properties and second homes and all this stuff. So it will change because a lot of Mid-Atlantic is coming to the northeast of New England.
Right.
Yeah.
And all my best friends are from there, and you know, just the sticks in Jersey are pretty similar in some places, but it's gonna change. You know, and because it's bigger money. So these areas are going to get gentrified, and families that maybe have had footholds in some of these places won't.
Yeah.
You know, for second and third generations. And
yeah, it was like the stigma, like especially when I was growing up too. It's like go to college, get that degree, and like, it was almost like you were an outcast if you went to trade school or something, which sucks.
For sure, big cultural shift. I mean, like if someone was coming in your house to work on your toilet, you would look so far on your nose at them, like, you know, like this guy's working on toilets. Now you're like on hold. Yeah. Hoping this guy will get in and fix your toilet in 2 weeks, and it's going to cost you $150
exactly,
bucks an hour.
Dude. Especially up in Vermont. My parents couldn't even get a plumber to come to their house for the whole winter, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, everyone's out here, I don't have a job, this and that. You know, there's over 2 million open skilled labor jobs in the States.
It's crazy.
Can't get the bodies. Like, I know guys who run big companies, and they're spending their next 5-year plan is to build their own trade schools. So they know they will have bodies 10 years from now.
Smart.
Because they can't, you know, and like, you can go to trade school and make fucking 30 grand while you're in school. When we first started 1620, we met the guy who bought the Peterson School. You guys have heard the advertisement?
Of course, yeah.
And he was a Wall Street guy, super smart. And when he checked out as a multimillionaire, who knows what his net worth really was, but he bought the Peterson School. Now I think he's working on his 3rd location. His biggest issue was getting places with enough parking spaces.
Wow.
It's been explosive for him. You know? Like, and in Europe, like the apprenticeship program, like especially like in Bavaria and Austria and Germany, like
there's a sense of pride. Even people that work at restaurants, they're trained in hospitality. And they work for restaurants forever. They make an honest living. Yeah. You know, tips aren't even a thing over there. You get paid $20 an hour to.
Everyone can't be behind a computer writing code. And
well, that's the thing. I was just gonna say that. It's like every 30-year-old to 20-year-old knows how to use a fucking computer nowadays. So that's not unique anymore.
It's just there's not
as
much.
There's 15-year-old kids editing videos on TikTok that like. Yeah. It's insane.
There's not as much white collar opportunity. I think it's at it. It's like, you know,
and if
that's what flows. It might change if everyone starts piling into the trades. 10 years from now, it might change.
Well, I think people are opening it up now, especially with student loans. Like, it's crazy. You graduate college and $200,000 in debt.
Yeah. I had an intern. I'm not going to say his name. I love him, but
that camera.
Or what college? Yeah. What college you went to? But
we need an intern to run our camera.
I know. We need somebody. I was like, listen, I'm going next door
on this podcast,
and
still juuling, huh?
I was off for like a couple weeks. I just picked
Let's
it back
jump
up
into our first sponsor break.
No, but we're gonna listen to the story.
Yeah, this is your 4th shameless plug, okay? Jules not getting on
These
here.
are terrible, bro. It's either this or fucking this.
I know you got all your vices in front of you lined up.
Yeah, you're working on a company. And
how's the beer?
The entrepreneur life is a stressful life. It's very cool, and there's a lot of aspirational cool things, but it's super, super stressful. I'm blessed with like a really great business partner, but it's not fucking easy.
Oh, I bet. I mean, anytime you're starting something from the ground up, it's a long road to get recognized, especially right now. There's so much shit out there.
Trying to sell $200 pants to the working man online, sight unseen, is fucking challenge.
That's why I told you guys to go to the Canada Goose Road and just do that.
We were talking about that brand last week.
You know, and just
fucking
it's
awesome,
all about that patch. No one gives a shit
brand.
that it's.
They sell $100 fucking beanies, bro.
It's $1,200 jackets for girls to walk from this dorm room to this classroom.
I was in Nordstrom last week. My chick was looking at him, telling me what you want for Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's not Walmart.
No, if that's what she wants.
Walmart doesn't sell Canada Goose.
No. And like, that's a study in an amazing brand, right? Never discount. Really just kept it.
No,
when we were kids,
what?
Canada Goose was not that shit.
That's what I was gonna say. They cut their teeth in
it was
the
the urban
world.
market. Yeah, adventure, and like it was an urban puffy brand for a long time, and then what they've done with that brand is, you know, I'm a brand guy. I really like to look at what brands do and what they do right, what they do wrong. I think you can learn a shitload from both of those fucking paths. You know, some of my favorite brands have done the dumbest shit and they're gone. Some brands I thought were the jankiest, shittiest brands ever, fucking killing it. So it's like, it's interesting.
Supreme $2 billion.
It's interesting.
Crazy.
Man. Consumer mindset. I mean, that's the business we're all kind of in, the three of us, and a lot of people are in. It's like, you know, it's a really just such a consumer-driven society, and like, how do you really make money in the U.S., man? You gotta fucking, unless you're like, in the trades, but still, like in the trades, you're building a house to sell it, or you're fucking putting in fucking high-end windows to sell products. It's all
Nowadays,
consumerism.
the way you make money in the U.S., you're born into it.
Yes. I've had a lot of women though ask me, when is 1620 coming out
Make
with
ladies
women's
laugh.
stuff?
We're looking at it. You know, it's the fastest growing segment of the trades, but it still represents like less than 3%.
Sure.
So it's small. And we've always said, you know, when we start working with a woman that can help us do it right.
Right.
I've talked to a
Yeah.
few higher level chicks online that are influencers and construct and know what they need and know what they want. And, you know, we'll probably enlist their help to do it right. You know, real women that are welding and fabricating in fucking Texas and fucking Oklahoma, like real chicks. But, you know, for us, it's not on the immediate radar just because we're still small and we're still kind of scraping the surface of our exposure. But it's something we're definitely going to look at.
Yeah.
For sure. You know what? I don't know what chicks want. I'm not gonna.
That's the
I'm not gonna
thing.
pretend that maybe I can.
When I worked in
make a
apparel,
ladies' workwear brand know what they
It was the
want.
same thing. They would be like, "Oh, can you guys design some women's shit?" And we're like, we go out, we try to, but we'd
Shrink
buy,
it, pink
you know,
it.
we go to the mall, we'd buy all this shit, you know, and pretend it was for our girlfriend or whatever. We'd bring it all back. We'd be like, what are they wearing? Like, you know, it's like we'd all sit down in the conference
What
room
is
and
this
we
even?
dissect all this Abercrombie shit and Hollister and all this
I've
stuff.
never known what
We
women
knew
are-
nothing about
I've
it.
never ever known what they've been thinking about anything. So
No,
how
and
am I
then
gonna know what
finally-
they want to wear.
It's
we
turquoise.
tried for years, and then finally we're like, we've got a really good idea. Let's hire women to design this shit because that's the only way.
For sure.
And even then, they were like, "There's no science to it." They're like, "Well, they like the cut, they like the feel of the materials, they
Yeah.
like the." Where guys are like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'll buy it."
More visual and.
Yeah, we're much more visual.
But I mean, there's
we're simple
a lot of
animals.
chicks. There's a lot of chicks in the trade. You know, it's a funny world.
Absolutely.
You get a lot of chicks on Instagram trying to look hot that are welders, like their tits out welded.
That's,
shit. They get, like,
yeah, that's
you know,
kind of the
800,000
HGTV
followers, and it's all
thing,
just
yeah.
dudes- it's all
Every
dudes.
single
It's like-
industry.
It's kind of funny, but you know.
They're not
can't-
throwing back the butt
can't
heavies
hate on
behind the camera.
Can't hate on
yeah.
the game, you know. The game's the
Yeah.
game.
Hey, if it sells,
The influencer game is a crazy world.
Dude, the game is
if
the
it
game.
sells pants,
Dude, like you just gotta. I'm not in the business of hating, man. I'm in the business of fucking watching, learning, and anyone who can make anything happen in 2020 America, fucking respect.
It's just crazy
Right.
to see how everything's
Fucking respect.
the last 3 years on social media. It's just been
Yeah.
insane.
If you got time to really fucking hate on shit, then you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
right?
You're not doing anything. I don't have time to fucking hate on shit. Like I'm only looking at shit that I think is cool,
Yeah.
or only looking at shit that I'm trying to learn on. I mean, every once in a while there'll be things I'll be like, "What the fuck is this?" But like, I don't have
Narrowly
the time to
avoiding the
on
hate.
it.
Dicking in there and comment.
Yeah.
Although you are really good online. I mean, you
What time to
you,
hate?
you get a post in like
Bro.
every day.
Our ad.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
Our ad
I
account
mean,
got
I
disabled.
admire it, and I'm not
It's
calling
a
you.
nightmare.
I'm not saying you're an Instagram boyfriend or
a
anything
nightmare.
like that. I didn't go there. I'm just saying.
It's a nightmare.
It was one of my
What
questions.
do you keep doing, Lando? Checking the cameras?
He checks the time. See, somebody has to be on this.
Dude,
No, this is
Instagram's a nightmare. Like, listen, they disabled
This
our.
could
They
be our
disabled
first
our ad
audio
account.
only podcast.
They disabled our ad account last week,
Yeah.
and you know we spend a considerable amount of money advertising on social. We found a vein that kind of works well for us,
Yeah.
and
Is it dead?
they disabled our. Is your camera dead? I haven't been on this. I haven't been. Good. There's no video footage of me doing it. It's perfect. And I had like a fucking crazy meltdown because I'm looking at like my ad account, being suspended, like the week before Black Friday or a couple weeks before Black Friday, which in Cyber Monday, which was.
Why did they suspend your?
I'm
your
trying to
account?
find the email to read it for you guys right now because they said it was like unscrupulous advertising practices or trying to scam people or whatever. And then I went through the whole thing trying to talk to Facebook and trying to see what's going on.
Hey Zuck, we're not fucking scammers.
This is Facebook,
Dude.
not Instagram.
Well,
or
well,
this
they
is-
own
It's
Instagram.
one
Yeah.
thing. So you go through the Facebook platform. To
But
do
this
it.
is your personal account, not
So
the
listen
business.
to this. This is what they said to me. They go, thank you for contacting Facebook. Great news. I'm delighted to let you know that your team has reviewed your ad account and has re-enabled it. You should now be able to create new ads. To protect our advertisers' accounts, random reviews are constantly conducted time to time that may also cause false positives. And this was the case here. We seek your kind understanding as we regularly try our best to help our advertisers so they have a smooth and wonderful experience advertising with Facebook. Now, I'm not talking shit on Facebook. It's part of our business. I respect the hell out of them. But that's crazy.
Yeah.
Getting a false positive COVID test on your ad account, it's shut down. I mean, we definitely lost money that night. And then if they weren't able to turn it back on quick, we could be in a bad spot. And then it makes you realize like if you're a digital brand, like you are not even like indebted, but like they run you.
But this
Yeah.
is, and that's the problem though that I've always said is you don't own that. We have no, we're not entitled to any of that. The only thing you have is your website.
But
'cause
they're
you
good
pay
at what
for
they
that.
do. Like, listen, that machine and how it finds your customer and how it gets them on your shit to buy your shit.
That's
They
theirs.
know everything about everyone.
But like,
yeah.
they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No
like,
doubt.
if you want to access what they're good at, you got to fucking play pool. And you gotta
I
play
just
along.
haven't had
It's-
any
No doubt.
luck
gnarly.
with that
No
myself with them, and I don't know that I trust the Instagram
It's real and it's
advertising.
It's real and it's
platform.
legit, and there's you got to find someone that knows the playbook a little bit, because there's
Yeah.
definitely you got to set the deck a little bit for yourself. Or you'll never really find the way. Like we were able to set it a little bit with some people.
Yeah.
We're going to try to find like this next level of people right now. I've been putting out RFPs and
Are
talking.
you
about
actually talking to legitimate people there? Is that
No, well, we've talked to Facebook teams, we've talked to Instagram teams, we've been like involved like in conversations with guys that are trying to ramp you and do this stuff. Like once
Yeah.
you spend a certain amount of money, you pop on that radar and they'll
Get an
talk to
account
you.
manager. Yeah.
They'll help you, but it's more about senior level agencies that know the playbook that
Right.
can really ramp DTC brands. And
Right.
they're out there and they're expensive, and you have to be a certain brand and look a certain way and do a certain amount of business for them to be able to talk to you. And we're just getting to that spot where we can start to have some of these conversations, and it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's a learning experience. And there are brands that do insane revenues through just that platform alone. We're talking like 30x ROI on fucking $100,000 a month spends, right? I mean, these there are brands that just fucking print cash off that thing. So
Makes that money worth it.
yeah, it's a learning thing, and we're just trying to figure it all out. And a ton of respect for it. It's it's scary, it's creepy. Like I'm part of it. I'm way in it, and then it seeps into your personal life big time too. And like everyone likes to get a bunch of likes, and it preys on our weakest emotions, like that vanity,
That dopamine
shit.
hit you get every
It's
time.
a
Yeah.
supercharged fucking vanity shit. So I'm just trying to keep it positive, and then I'm just trying to make fucking 1620 look sick. I'm trying to like walk those two lines.
Well, the stuff is good. I get a lot of guys all the time. They're like, oh yeah, what do you have, 1620s? Oh, you got all kinds of money. And I'm like, yeah. That's the first thing I go. I was like, well, what?
Status.
You broke? Yeah, you're just jealous, bro. What? You
I
have
think
no
it's the
money?
funniest thing everyone dudes going
So
online
that's my
being like,
first.
I would never buy that pant. Like, I don't know who you think you're selling to, and like this and that's like, so like, you really want to go online and call out yourself
Yeah.
as being a broke ass? Chicks are looking at this shit, bro. Like, but then you see the trucks they drive. Like, you're really gonna claim poverty? You just
Yeah,
fucking
right?
dropped $200 at the fucking 99 last night drinking pictures.
Spending
Like,
$700 a month.
So
on
that's
your
always
truck,
my first
yeah.
play with them. Is I'm like, oh yeah, it's a big deal, But at the end of the day, I went through a million pairs of different clothes and shit, and would always take my old shit and then ruin it and really throw it out, which was ridiculous.
You're hard on your shit. You're definitely working in it.
Yeah, but I think, but also, if you get on the discount or whatever, it's like $100 for
Dude,
a pair of pants. It's not that much more
You're
than
gonna
buying.
you're gonna wind up spending. Like, listen, if you simplify,
It feels
you
better
don't
paying
need,
full price for it.
You
though.
need like fucking six. You need like 6-7 pairs of pants for a couple years. Keep them good. You don't need a whole lot more than
No.
that. Sometimes you even need less. And I've been super fortunate to kind of have started this brand and built it with photographer Brian Evans. I think he's kind of unsung hero. He's a member of the company, but like, dude, he can make shit look super sick. We can walk.
That's
into a
important.
We can walk into a parking lot and a dude can be like fucking on a wet saw cutting brick, and he'll make it look fun.
And he shoots all your stuff, right?
I
all the
try to get him to show
catalog,
my stuff. I mean, he's a
most of
big
it.
time dude.
Yeah.
Who works with big.
He does
time
great
clients.
work.
He helped us out at Bern too. That's a
And
key
he's
part of
busy.
Bern.
Yeah,
Was
he's-
all the
dude,
imagery, man.
He's been awesome to me, and my goal is that his ownership in the company at some point is a payoff for him. And that's,
Nice.
there's a lot of people that a lot of friends and family that have invested too. Like, and I'm
Nice.
not on this mission just for myself. I'm on this mission for the people that are a part of it, and there's
Sure.
a lot of people that I care about that are a part of it, and Brian's one of them. And he's just, it's wild to get to work with him, because I just unless he didn't believe in what we're doing and wanted to be a part of it and support it, we wouldn't get a chance to really work with a guy like that. Berkey's been awesome too.
Yep.
Matt Bergowitz from previous Fisher days, he's super talented as well, and a couple great videographers. Adam McCallian's done great shit for us. John O'Callahan,
Content is king.
yeah, like
O'Callahan's busting his ass fixing up
he's
a
doing
barn in
really cool
Michigan. That's
shit.
so cool.
Yeah. We did an awesome early trip to Alaska with him and a videographer
Oh, yeah.
friend of his.
The sled dogs.
Yeah, just what a fucking amazing trip.
Yeah.
And it's been a cool experience, and we're on the precipice of it being something good. I've been grinding super hard and been crazy broke from making like sick money to like being totally broke and starting over again.
Were you traveling a lot before COVID?
We definitely were on the road traveling a bunch. We haven't. We're actually going to be driving down to North Carolina. We have a new pant factory that we're testing out in North Carolina that we're going to go see.
Taking your car or renting? Are you renting a car?
Rent something, yeah.
Have you ever been accused of stealing a rental car?
I have been accused of stealing a car. You remember that? Oh my God.
I think more than one occasion, actually.
That one was wild because they
I can explain.
They were they reported to the police and shit, and they were like after us for that one, right? Was that California or was
us?
It was a couple. Dude, you want to talk about funny, amazing shit? Like, let's talk about what really went down with some of the house rental places with Bern.
My first SAI, I was going to bring that up earlier. That house up in Golden was hilarious. First off, someone rented a house an hour away from the convention center.
Oh, that's convenient.
He gives me the address of the place. I'm like, Golden. Oh, Golden's not that far. But
Dude,
it was like Golden up on the foothills.
Dude,
it was an hour away from the
It was a
convention
sick
center.
house, and we could get all the reps and a bunch of people to come back, so we would party the fuck out of it with like 20, 25 people.
Yeah.
You guys invited me back, but I'm like, I'm not going to fucking Golden.
I have no idea how to
And
get
I was
back
staying
from
down
there.
for like the Nike shows and shit.
None of the
They
cool
were
kids
5
went back.
blocks
Just
away.
all the carpet bagging reps.
Yeah, yeah.
Cody.
But dude, remember the letter that the fucking owner
Yes,
sent to
dude,
us?
that was amazing.
Oh my God.
My husband built this house with his bare hands. Into the jokester that left cigarette butts in the bedroom drawer.
How much marijuana did you smoke? We found marijuana in 5 bedrooms.
Can we have that back?
Dude, that was insane.
I remember.
Vegas houses, no one cares because they're so used to
Right.
their houses getting trashed.
Yeah.
They didn't give
That
a
was
fuck.
so good, though. It starts
One
out,
of-
my husband built this house with his
With
bare
his
hands.
I remember that story.
One of
we
the
draft
last-
them a response, like, we left the weed for you. We think you'd want it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome. The response.
You
was
can't even say
ridiculous.
everything that was on that letter.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
no.
yeah, there's a lot of.
No.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of pay-per-view shit that went down too, supposedly.
One of the last shows that I saw you was in Long Beach. Do you remember that?
Was
was
that
one of the
was that
last
the year you
shows-
rented the yacht?
Shit, that
We
was
were
when rented
together.
The boat.
No, that might have been the
No,
year. That might have been the year I was there.
I think it was Agenda.
Yeah, I think that was the year I
We
was
had
out
the
there.
boat party.
That was
We
the
rented
year.
boat
That
in
was
the
the year
harbor.
we shared a queen bed.
That was the
No, I don't think you were there that year.
Nothing happened, everyone.
Yeah. But we
It was-
ran up.
it's fine.
I remember we went down. I don't remember what part of town it was. We were on the beach, whatever, and we went to this happy hour. And there's a bunch of
When
us
Lando and I built the booth in the wrong.
in the
We
wrong
built-
spot.
We
the wrong
got the
spot.
booth done early. We go to the
Yeah,
beach. We're like,
drinking
fuck
beers,
yeah.
smoking
Give us-
joints.
Josh gets a call. Hey guys, we need you to come back. You set up in the wrong booth.
I think the most amazing story ever was Surf Expo. I was down there with Brett Sipple, the most amazing character ever. And we're like, oh, we got one more day to set up. Like, yeah, we don't have much left to do, though. We'll get it done. We get out. We're like, there's a lot of people here. And he's like, I know, man. There's a lot of people for setup. I'm like, no, there's a lot of cars. And we walk up, and they're like, yeah, your
Show
badges.
already
We're
started.
Like, we look up, and it's like the first day of the show. And it started at 9. And we were getting there at like noon. And our booth wasn't even done yet. And it's just like so hungover. Like, just ridiculous.
You had no idea.
Hey, this is our booth. Come on in. We got a helmet bag.
Hey, listen, you want to help us finish this booth up? We'll give you a discount on your intro order. Surf Expo. What a fucking waste of time. No offense to Surf Expo.
The only surf expo I've been to, it went down. It got canceled 6 hours into it for a hurricane.
Like,
I don't think anything happened at Agenda either. But I remember we went down to this bar. There was a bunch of us.
The only thing that
drinking.
happened at Agenda was we kept leaving for fucking green hit breaks.
Agenda was a cool show.
We went
Was.
to and we thought it was happy hour.
It was too cool. Nothing.
Do you
got
remember
done.
this? And we were all drinking, and it was happy hour. But then it was not happy hour.
Yeah.
Like we went beyond happy hour.
That's easy.
And we kept drinking and drinking, and then you guys went out to smoke and stuff. And I went to the bathroom. I came back out, and it was like me and like one other person at the table. We had shit everywhere, and the waitress was like kind of freaking out. She came back over, and she's like, "Are you guys done?" I'm like, "I think so." And she goes, "Well, I have the tab here. I just want to make sure you guys aren't leaving yet." And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." And she brought it over, and it was like $730. And I was like, "Holy
Hopefully I didn't put
shit!"
that
And
on
I'm
the
like,
burn card.
"Hold on." That's what I said. I go,
definitely did.
"Hold on, I can't take care of this, but I know someone that can." So then I went and found you out front. And I was like, "Dude, you got to go back in there."
The last couple of years, man.
Thank God you had that.
I definitely rang up the last few years, man.
That was good.
Bern did not set me up for responsibly expense reporting. I used to just print out my credit card statement and highlight the ones I wanted to be paid back for.
Exactly. It was loose. I mean, it was money to burn. We're just gonna give it to Uncle Sam if we didn't spend it anyway. We should have been spending way more on the marketing budget in those years. But
That was
there was some
marketing.
good, good years in Vegas where we took the whole team out and did a bunch of rad shit. Took the whole team out to the Spearmint Rhino.
We had our buddy Cody Stammers who flew out to almost every dinner.
What a fucking dirtbag, Cody. What a fucking dirtbag.
It's
you
free
are.
dinner hunter.
God, like clockwork.
I was looking through my phone the other day. I picture trip from San Francisco. We're chilling. We're at Dew Tour.
Remember that?
Cody's there.
Cody was there. What was he doing? He
just flew in.
That was a good Dew Tour. San Fran Dew Tour was sick. And they had the dirt bike jumps right by
Yeah,
that whole setup.
that's my first trip to California. It was
awesome.
fucking sweet.
That was an awesome trip.
Double Dragon.
Double Dragon. Ryan, what a fucking good kid.
Yeah, we need to
I feel bad that the young
get him on the
generation they might not really get to access the way it was, but maybe they'll access it in a different way. I mean, I think they're a different generation too, but I don't know what the industry's like anymore. Lando knows better than I am, but I can't sit here and be like, oh, the golden days and all that bullshit. But
It was the golden days.
there was some fucking
different.
It was a sick business when it was printing money and everyone was doing good.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Now it's weird. It's printing money again all of a sudden, and
Good.
who knows what's gonna happen?
Good.
But everyone's hungry to get outside. That's
you know
for
those
sure.
years, Bablo, where you booked the magazine fucking front to back with tons of ads and people paid on time?
Yeah.
Those were good years.
Yeah, and then at the
Well, listen,
end,
no one
4
ever
or
paid
5
on
people
time,
paid.
okay? A couple people, maybe VF. That was about it.
God bless them.
shouts out.
Yeah, thank God for VF.
But I miss those years, and I miss the snow biz. It's definitely made me who I am, and I think it makes good marketers, and I think it makes good salespeople. Because again, you're selling to a small audience, and
Small
they're always
budget.
the coolest kids in the room, and you got to do it on a small budget,
Yeah,
and it's usually high price point items.
that's
You
the
gotta
biggest
convince
thing.
The coolest kids in the room to buy something, and
Yeah.
that's the toughest thing to do.
That's what
Yeah,
I learned
you
at
know.
Bern, how to work hard and make the buck go a long way.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, we fucked around, we made a lot of money, we blew some money, but we worked our asses.
We worked our asses off, dude. And I didn't, we partied for sure, but you guys taught me hard work for
We had
sure.
worked
and
our
I-
asses off.
yeah,
We got it done when it was time to work.
I wish I could find a crew that works as hard as we did.
Those years when we had that good crew. when
It
we
was
had
such a good crew.
Oh my god, we would no one's booking paper at this show. And we'd be like,
We're okay.
we had some great salespeople and a great team.
Yeah,
and
it's
the energy in our
awesome.
booth was so sick.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to
For
be
a
in that
helmet
booth.
company.
Yeah. And it
Are
was
you
fun.
still skiing? You said you're not, but I've
last-
I've seen you in the past
It's
few
been out a
years.
Listen,
couple
last
times.
year was the first year I haven't skied in probably 25 years.
You didn't ski at all last year?
Didn't ski
That
once.
makes sense.
Wow.
Didn't ski
Adds
once.
up.
I was super busy. I had a couple chances to go.
Got cut off short too.
I was just trying to get my knee in a good spot. I was going to spring ski a little bit. My knee's in a good spot now. I got to find a really good brace. If you guys know anyone or can give me a pro deal on a really good brace. I need a really good brace. I'm rocking a big asterisk.
Jay needs a brace.
Fucking
Maybe that'll be our first sponsor.
maybe
yeah,
like
brace
maybe
up
I with a
braces.
brace.
Maybe
I'll
we get
fucking-
ace bandages.
We know a lot of fucking
come in.
beat up people. Yeah.
I need a good brace. I want to ski again. I miss it a ton, but
Don Joy hit us
you
up.
know, it's also how many fucking times can I really go fucking ski cannon? How many
Yeah.
times
Cannon's
can I
fucking
really
sweet.
point
Shut
it
up.
down that fucking run?
I've tried to get you up
Gary's
to Jay.
run, dude.
I've tried to get you up to Jay.
Jay's 5 hours away.
And same
dude.
thing,
I'll get you up there.
when I came
know.
back from Utah, man, I was a pass holder there for 6 years, and God bless everyone up there. They do Steve's the man, and I love that hill. But how many times can I fucking traverse out to the fucking dip? I got a little spoiled on it
Yeah.
because I got to shred everywhere.
Yeah.
And then when you
course.
spend a lot of time in the fucking Allberg,
Berkey told me
you
that
don't
when
want
I
to come home and shred a ton of New
No.
England.
No.
It's tough to be motivated.
Absolutely.
you get
When
spoiled
it hurts.
quick.
If it didn't hurt, it would be a totally different thing. But for me, it hurts. I'm just, dude, I had 100+ days in the snow for fucking 20 years, and skiing and just charging and everything on one side of my body for a long time. Lando knew I couldn't even go up the stairs, and I worked my ass off now to get to a spot where I can do shit and it doesn't hurt and things are good. But I've had a couple surgeries and you get old. Fucking get old, Bablo. And the shit hurts.
I don't even want to ride with you
getting old
anymore
too.
because every time I do, this guy literally he gets off the lift and he just fucking points it. And it's I'll go literally as fast as I can, but you can't go that fast on a snowboard.
Jay's
He's on
fast.
skis and
Yeah.
he's at the bottom. He's literally, he's had a half a beer in the bar already.
But
but I'm
that's-
just getting down there.
Jay is quick.
That's the skiing though.
That's why I want to go
that's why-
skiing. That's why I want to go
that's
skiing with you again. So that I
Yeah,
can beat
that's
you.
what I loved about skiing. Man, the fucking the speed and the power. Of
Our
skiing.
crew is so fast, dude. It's so fun.
And
The Cannon crew is, that's the best
Kind
part.
of why I don't really ski because I don't know if I can gear it down a little.
Dude, the time I went with you 2 years ago,
You
you
have
were
one
not
speed.
gearing it
I
down.
was not gearing it down. I can. We had a good day. The
You were
snow
not
was
gearing
good.
So
it
it's
down.
all or nothing, man.
I only have one gear on a ski.
I feel the same
When
way,
I
yeah.
start going, I don't.
It's just not fun.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if I think I'd fucking eat shit and get hurt if I tried to gear it down.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But I don't know. But I've skied a lot of days, and at one point in my life, I skied at a good level. And it's just listen, man, there's a whole nother level pro shreds to like a good level of recreation skiing, and I think I was at a good level of recreation.
Yeah, the pro shreds too. You don't realize. I mean, these guys are fucking obsessed with working out, dude. Like,
Yeah, now they are.
Yeah.
The guys that are serious about it, and like
and even like Tanner back in the day, dude. Like, he was partying, but he was also riding his fucking stationary bike 3 hours a day.
dude, like going
Animal.
like lapping like fucking Tower 3 in the upper circle with a kid like Parker Cook, you
Yeah.
realize really quick that you
Right.
suck.
Yeah,
And Parker Cook's the man.
yeah.
And
I
like
accepted that a long time
you
ago.
know, and like he was a sponsored skier and he's sick and he's an underground skier in Little Cottonwood Canyon.
Yeah,
But like, and no offense to Parker Cook, like you compare him to some dudes that are skiing at a high level in Europe, and it's like another it's superhuman level of fucking shredding.
the Euros are
Parker
crazy.
Crook-
The Euros are fearless.
If
dude.
Parker grew up skiing in fucking
Yeah,
the French Alps, he had skied at that level too. He's an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
And like, so it's just like these levels. It's where you ski, it's where you grow, it's where you snowboard.
yeah.
And it's wild.
Difference is the guys in Europe, they learn the mountains, they learn safety. Like, those guys are like mountain guides before they become pro shreds.
Yeah, because all
like,
their friends fucking die growing up and shit.
Yeah,
like
and it's-
they're around a lot of death in the mountains.
it's tradition too. It's passed down.
I think kids in the States see it too, and kids get hurt in the mountains, but it's not like, someone gets fucked up in Montana, someone gets fucked up in Jackson, or fucked up in California, and I've lost friends in those mountains.
Yeah,
But, the European kids, like, they never see their friend again because they disappear.
right.
Yeah.
In the mountains. The mountain eats them, and you never
Yeah, it's
ever
crazy
find
out
them
there.
again. It's just it's a way bigger, different world, So I think they have a different respect for it, because it's also like, sometimes they probably don't even really go looking for them. Like they do to a point, but like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Especially when weather's around,
Yeah.
Fucking mountains just tower over everything in North America. It's just like fucking spires.
Massive.
Just insane.
Yeah, not as high, but like it's crazy. You get into these valley towns and you ride a tram up, and then
Yeah.
you're just in the midst of it, dude.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Wild. Yeah, I mean the vertical is different, right? Because it's just the way that they're built, and like
Yeah.
compared to like the 14,000 foot mountains in Colorado.
Yeah, you're
they're
definitely
sick,
not like sucking wind like you are in Colorado, but
Right.
you're like,
but the exposure,
it's
and
6,000
like the-
feet vertical drop to get back to
the
town.
exposure and shit is just like this spire.
Shred all day or hungover from the day before. Like, oh, get me down,
Yeah,
dude.
it's wild
Yeah.
places, scary places.
Yeah, you've been way into surfing
I'm
these
obsessed
days.
with surfing. Yeah, it's
What's the scene like here?
good to be bad at a sport. Try to get better at it. It's
Still
it's
bad?
humbling. I'm still not good. No.
10
I'm-
years
I'm
later?
like,
How long have you been surfing?
Intermediate to like slightly better than intermediate. About 10 years.
That takes some patience.
It's the hardest sport. It makes golf look easy. It's so difficult. It's so challenging.
Golf is easy.
Like I could take any dude I know that's a ripping
It's not that easy.
snowboarder and put him on a surfboard and put him on a wave, and they will shred it.
Yeah, really.
Anyone, Westcott, any of these guys, like, and Seth's a good surfer, but like you take these guys, you put them on a board. The surfing's all about getting in the spot to be able to really catch the wave at the right time, being able to deal with like the ocean, being able to deal with the ocean temps, knowing where to go, knowing winds. There's like so all these crazy other intangibles that are just beyond even riding on the wave.
Yeah.
That's like that takes the longest.
I just went for the first time in January
Yeah.
with Travis Moore
Oh,
in
nice.
Puerto
In
Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was down in Rincon.
Did he
and
bring you
he's-
on a big day?
He's of course, you know him. So he's like, he's from New England. He's fine. He fucking
send
put
him
him
out
on.
there.
So he's literally putting me out here with this guy who's like, semi-pro surfer.
Yeah,
and,
Travis can surf.
and the guy's like, Travis put me out with one of his instructors.
Oh, one of his
I've
instructors.
never been in my life. He tried to take me out on a Hampton Beach day after it snowed 2 feet. And I think Dumphy was like, he's like, dude, if you've never surfed before, today is not the day to learn to surf. That's what he said. And I was like, all right, Dump, I admire that.
looking
I
out for
admire
you.
the honesty. So finally I'm down in Puerto Rico. I have no excuses. And he says, so he gives me one of his guys and he says, Trav, he goes, the sets are really bad today. Like there's a storm off coast, and he's like, you sure you want him to go out? And he's like, it'll be fine. So we get down to the spot. We get down to domes. And it's just like, I don't know all the terminology, but these waves are breaking like super fast, and it's just total fucking rip. And it starts raining, and Travis shows up, and his instructor Nagel, he's like, I don't think it's a good idea, man. This is really bad. Like, he's like, he's fine. He's from New England. He's fine. So, he hits us on
From
the
New England,
back.
he's never surfed. He's fine.
He sends us out. I shit you not. It took me 20 minutes to paddle out over this break. I mean, I'm just getting fucking chewed up in this break. I get out there, and I mean, my muscles are burning. I get out there, and he's like, dude, this is... He's like, I'm really sorry. He's like, normally I would never take anyone out in this. He's like, but you're one of our boys. And you know, you're friends with Travis. He's making us do it, so we got to do it.
Jesus.
So I hit a wave, and I just end up nosediving in it and just eating fucking, you know, a gallon of salt water. Get back up. I get out there. We do this like an hour and a half, and I am
It's a long session.
smoked.
Yeah.
And he's like,
For the
dude,
first time,
and he
yeah.
tells me, he's like, this is going to be the worst thing ever. He goes,
Getting
I
in.
promise you this, if you just come back another day, I guarantee it will be 20 times better than
You'll
this.
have fun, man.
So, I mean, the weather ended up being bad. I didn't end up going back for like 4 days. And then I was like, I mean, my shoulders were killing me.
Well, I got a wetsuit that fits you if you want to try to go this
Yeah,
way.
I wouldn't be too sure about that. Remember that time in Canada I had to wear your jeans because I stayed over? I think I stretched those like 3 sizes.
No, I
I'm
got
sorry,
wetsuit
man.
that'll fit
They
you.
were nice, but
I can
He likes tight pants.
so he gets me out a second time, and I get out there, and I had the same instructor, Nagel, and he's like, dude, today's gonna be night and day. And we get out there on the water, and I mean, you know, I paddle out in like 2 minutes. There's like fucking turtles coming up and dolphins. It's like
Beautiful.
sunny. Get up. I end up riding like 3 waves, and I was like, this is the most incredible
Yeah,
thing
it's
ever.
incredible.
And he's like, yeah, what do you think about this? I'm like, I honestly wasn't even sure I wanted to even ever go back
Yeah, it changes.
after that first day. And I'm like, this is the best thing. He's like, I
Huh,
told you.
that's
So
sick.
it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe power to Trav for making me go out on that shitty day, because now I have like that much more respect
You won't
for
be
a,
as scared either next
for
time.
a
you know what to
good day.
expect,
Yeah, but you know, he's
I mean,
he's a
listen,
crazy son of a bitch
I've
anyway.
been super fortunate to be able to get out of Cats in fucking BC and get out of fucking Hellies in BC and shred a bunch of sick places. And I'll take a fucking chest high day surfing over all that shit.
Yeah.
It's just for me personally, it's fucking insane. Maybe because I came into it later in life, but it's fucking amazing sport. It's so challenging when you get in a good wave. Like it's just, and
Until I didn't know what that was until I got up on that first wave, and
Yeah.
then I started to
just
understand it.
everything around, like like
Absolutely.
Then you're like, where was I looking at? Sometimes you even forget where like you were looking.
Yeah.
It's a really cool sport. And like, man, there are so many amazing fucking surfers around here, dude. It's unbelievable. There's kids that like, if they ever grew up in Southern California, when they were sponsoring surfers, would have all been sponsored. And just the level of talent around here is pretty ridiculous too. And I think that's the coolest thing. It's like all these kids, like they're so into it. Right, no matter what the fuck they're doing, I don't know what their job is or whatever, but I always see the same guys out ripping. They're always out. They never miss a session.
They're plumbers.
They might be.
Probably. Yeah.
Some of them
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
are. Some of them definitely are. And like they're not doing it fucking to get stickers in their boards or to this or that. Like they're good enough to get a rep deal or this or that, or they're doing it just because they love it and
Yeah.
they're fucking so passionate about it. And it's just very similar to shredding. It's very much the same kind of stuff, just in the ocean.
Yeah, but it's a lot more approachable. I mean, that's
Dude,
what I
I can
respect
hear
about
it
it.
where I
You
live.
buy the board and that's it.
Yeah, dude. Where I live, I can hear it on Plum Island, which is a good. Actually, Plum Island sucks. Don't ever surf there. It's terrible.
Yeah, don't go to
But,
Plum Island.
I can hear it. I can fucking drive there in 10 minutes, and like, there's no lines, there's no fucking people, there's no tickets, there's no fucking douchebags wearing fucking really kooky shit. It's just, it's so different than the mountain experience started to become. Like, God bless Canada for the years. I was still skiing a lot in the east because it's still kind of an underground place, but to go to these big resorts and in that line and to spend that money and to spend that and to fucking buy $10 beers and shit, I had done so much of it.
Yeah.
It had started to lose like its luster to me, and it might
Yeah.
be like a spoiled prick snow industry kid to talk about it. For me, I just wanted a different experience when I was outside, and
It'll
that's
come
that's
back.
surfing.
Well, Jay, thanks for coming down and being our first guest, man.
Was I
We
any good?
appreciate
Did I
it. I
talk
think
a
you
lot?
were.
Did I talk
I think he was okay. Yeah, it's not bad.
We didn't tell many too funny stories or anything like that.
Yeah.
Did I preach too much?
I'm not
It's
sure
okay.
if they're. I'm not sure if we.
We
can
kept it
tell all
appropriate,
those, but
yeah.
There's a lot of things we probably still can't say. Even
The spirit's there, though. So plug where people can find you and what you're doing.
1620usa.com is our website. 1620usa is our Instagram, and check it out. Use my code if you want to buy something, JOSH in all caps, or 20 off. How
Oh,
about that?
sick.
20% off for a holiday. Get your
Exclusive here on the
loved ones
Bablo
already.
and Lando podcast.
For sure, it's an
Nice.
exclusive discount. A percentage of those sales, they don't go back to these guys, but maybe
One day, maybe.
maybe someday we'll create a special code and we can do that. But
That's
you know,
why we're here, baby.
if you support a business like ours and other businesses in the States that are making shit, you're supporting livable wage jobs. And American Made's a real fair trade. And every one of these brands that you love, that you buy tons of shit of, and I own all the brands too, and I buy all the stuff too. You know, it is what it is. When we
That's how you develop it.
yeah, when you make stuff here, it's pretty fucking honest, and it's probably more honest than any other manufacturing. And it is what it is, man. You're supporting fucking your neighbors and your community, that shit. So it's a good thing.
got-
Spend a little bit more money.
If you got more questions for Jay, hit him up. Uncle Jay Walker on Instagram.
It's my Instagram. Give
Hit
me
me
a
up.
follow.
I am Brandland. Hit up Bablo at Steve's
Magazine.
Steve's
You gotta
Magazine.
keep it Steve's Magazine
I
forever.
can't get the other one. Everybody else has it. You know, it's like I'm
Well,
gonna
that means
have
you just
to.
gotta do like a quarterly fucking like indie little Steve's zine.
We got a
Yeah,
podcast.
well,
like just keep
If,
it relevant.
when you're
do
ready to
one.
throw away money, I'm ready. All
But
right.
like, if you start a GoFundMe and you want to bring Steve's back and do
This
like a,
could turn
like a
into-
biannual Steve's magazine
No.
in and around the podcast and content people,
We're bringing the
I would
content
love
back.
to fucking donate to a fucking GoFundMe for that.
This is it. It's
know?
gonna be digital media for
Yeah.
now. Then maybe we'll bring
It's a
some
video
print back.
mag.
Nobody reads. No one knows how to read. I don't know. That's what I'm convinced. You go to Europe, there's bookstores everywhere. They still.
I have my
love
favorite
print.
magazine still in my
Yeah.
fucking backpack on my truck.
That's why you can barely even
Still
buy
a
a
couple out
snowboard
there.
magazine. right
Powder
now.
magazine is no more. I mean, can you
Yeah, it's
fucking
a bummer.
believe
It's
that?
gone.
It's
It's
heartbreaking to me.
Yeah.
Powder magazine's one of the biggest reasons why I had the life that I had. I
Yeah.
had the opportunity I had to be in the ski industry and do cool shit because I fell in love with skiing from that magazine and reading Steve Casanero.
Same man. My
and
walls
reading
were
Porter Fox
filled
and
with
reading these
that.
guys and like I can't fucking believe it's gone. It fucking
Yep.
breaks my heart. Dude.
Absolutely.
I still remember the covers, all of them, like the ones I had on my wall, and like sucks.
It's crazy. Well, like
Not to end
everything.
it on a somber note, but
Yeah. Well, everything comes in cycles, so
maybe it'll come back.
maybe it will. Who knows? But
Well, it's not over for sure, but they're furloughed. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they come back.
so
Goes to
kudos
show
you.
you, if
Thank
you
you
love
for-
a magazine, make sure you subscribe. If
Thanks
you
for,
love
uh,
our podcast, also make sure you subscribe.
You guys have a YouTube channel and everything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Bablo
we
and
got a
Lando
channel.
podcast
kidding, I
on
subscribe.
YouTube.
It's
I think I
very
subscribed.
legitimate.
And this,
yeah.
yeah,
I
please
watched a little bit of your
subscribe.
first one.
Yeah.
Just a little.
I was busy. I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking
What are
about?
these guys? I know.
We're gonna get on audio this week, so you can.
I'm a shitty first
You
guest.
can
You had a
listen.
way more high profile. At least get your next
Just
guest.
make sure you
way
plug the
cooler,
hell out
way
of
more
it.
high profile.
Yeah, can we get the Yeti guy? Can you give us his info?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think his publicist would ever let him come on this podcast. You can
Soon
ask
enough.
him.
Soon enough. Soon enough.
Maybe we get a cooler out of it. I don't know.
You guys
That'd be
know
cool.
some cooler cats than me.
Yeah. No, we got a list.
figure
We
it
have a
out.
list.
All
Scary.
right.
Yeah, good.
All right, man.
Thanks everyone for
He wants to
listening.
end it, so let's just end
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
I know.
yeah.
I've got it. This
Didn't
is
even
only
ask
my
you about this
second
beer.
job.
Yeah, is it any good?
Green State.
Yeah.
No,
They're
it's
all
good. It's actually really good. Never tasted a bad
Good.
beer in my life.
Good.
See you guys.
All right.
Awesome, man.
See ya.
Thank you.
Episode 3 coming
Clap us
soon.
out.